Morning, everybody. So good to be here. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. Get up, get your feet on the floor, and get your heads right on a Wednesday, August 2nd, right here in America's finest city. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And to my left, Benjamin Higgins, friendly neighborhood sports anchor, roundtable superstar. How are you, buddy?
I'm tired. Yesterday was a long week.
What? I was like, wait. No, you're right. Yesterday was really long. I was very bitchy when I got home.
It was, I don't want to complain. It was a good day.
Oh, it was a great day.
Between the round table and then I had extra hits on Channel 10 and it got to be like 8:30 and I'm going, it's got to be like 1 a.m. by now. I've been here forever.
You haven't stopped.
I just hasn't stopped. And I'm going, I still have to be here another 3 hours before I can go home. I'm not going to make it. I did take a nap at about 10:15 finally in my office.
Night?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Before the 11 o'clock after I'd kind of wrapped everything up. But yesterday just felt like the longest day of the year.
It really was. I went right after the show. We went into the studio, did a little production, and then I had to run to a client meeting and did that. And it was great. Had a great visit with our new friends at QC Kinetics. Learned all about what they do, how they're going to work on getting the pain in my hands and my joints out of the way. But that was in like Carmel Valley. So I went to Carmel Valley, did the meeting, then came back, hit Jersey Mike's, waited in the parking lot before it was time to come into the round table, did the round table, went right home. Hannah, right when I walked in the door, goes, let's go to dinner. We had a sitter. And it was like 3:45. I'm like, dinner. All right. Yeah, let's get it. We had
early bird special.
We had a sitter for like an hour. So we went out to get some sushi, and that was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And then right when we got home, she's like, it's going to be great. Tonight's a perfect night. We have the sitter. We'll have dinner. I'll bathe the kids. I'll hang with them, and you can just watch the game. I go, well, this is beautiful. This sounds fantastic. As soon as we got home from dinner, she's like, I have a work call. And then the kids are like, Dad. I'm like, holy cow. So I didn't stop either until the game was over.
You're the opposite of most people. When you go out to eat, you look and there's the happy hour menu and you go, ooh, it ends at 6. We got to get an order in. It's 5:55. We better get something in.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, if we wait 15 more minutes, the happy hour menu is going to start here at 4:00.
Dude,
we can just
crazy.
hold off 1 second. We get a drink and then we'll order a nice appetizer at $2 off.
Let's put it this way. When we pulled up to the restaurant, I go, is it open? I don't think it's open this early. And it was.
You really do have to look for that lit up.
The lit up sign. And it was open. And we went in and had a really nice time. And
hey, it's better instead of, hey, we got a 20-minute wait. It's like, sit at any table you'd like.
Honestly, she's like, sit anywhere. It doesn't matter. It was great. And you don't, when you're in the rat race like we all are and different schedules and stuff, we don't get a lot of time to go sit down and have a meal. And it's just a different place where we can sit and look at our phones. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. But no, it was great to have a little mini date night, and then came home and the kids were just terroristic. They had built this big fort and out of these, there are these long poles, Ben, and they have these balls at the top that have holes in them. And so you stick the thing in the hole, then you stick another one on this side, then one, and they're like a big erector set, but they're like plastic.
Oh, I think I've seen these.
It was date night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Paul's a little young for erector sets.
Thank you, West Coast Men's
Hey,
Health.
I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I know how it works.
So they put this thing together, and I'm like, all right, good. That'll keep them busy for a while. The game's starting. And then all of a sudden I hear, Dabo hit me. And I'm like, okay. And I run in there. They're beating each other with the balls attached to the sticks. That's the beating the crap out of each other with those. So Hannah comes in. She's mad. We have to undo the whole thing. She puts it all away. And I'm just looking. I'm like, this place is literally one flew over the cuckoo's
You
nest.
always have to look. The first thing, how can this toy possibly be weaponized?
100%.
How are they going to weaponize this?
Yeah. How can this be used as a weapon? And both of them come in with like marks on their face, and I'm like, all right, let's figure this out. But yeah, it was a long one. But you know what, man? Like, I always bust Adam's balls about the round tables and stuff because look, you get out of here at 10. Last thing you want to do is drive back up here at 2. but I actually had a really good time. It was really, really fun. I think it came off really well. And, Chris did a good job of doing the making sure everyone
That doesn't
got a
sound like the
taste.
fun part of the round table, being the bus driver.
Oh no, that's the worst part. You don't get to really give your opinions. You have to just set it. It's like a point guard back in the 50s. Like you don't score. You're just like
lobbing it
take
for everybody else.
Take it. Paulie's under making dunks. Ben's making dunks. I'm making dunks. And Elo's just got a dish the whole time. So that's actually the worst part of it.
I'm dying in our YouTube chat right now. I would like to welcome Paco into the YouTube chat, who says, does anyone else get tired of these three old farts starting the show always ranting about their personal life? Satan's Blowfish says that's the whole point of foreplay.
Yeah.
Paco says, I thought this was a sports show.
Paco, I love you, man.
If it keeps going down, he goes, what are we, it's a bunch of Ben and Woods lovers in here in this YouTube chat. He goes, you're in the YouTube channel
For Ben and Woods.
Yes, it's our show. It's our channel.
He says one more month for Chargers season. Bolt up.
Is that what he said?
This
Well,
is
I
either
mean,
the
I'm
worst
sorry.
the best troll job ever. Or...
Paco, listen. Why don't you call in 833?
That's fine.
Paco, call in 833-288-0973.
We see you in here too. We are also on our YouTube stream.
Yeah.
It's not a private chat with all of just the tier ones. We actually get to see it as well. But welcome. I mean, we'll take all comers.
What the F? Everybody in this chat loves Ben and Woods.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, you go to the Foo Fighters fan page, and the guy's like, is anybody else tired of the Foo Fighters in here?
I'm going to
And they're
Taylor
like,
Swift tomorrow night. Bro, there's freaking Swifties
There's
everywhere.
Swifties everywhere in here. This sucks. Like, bro, what are you doing? Paco, come on. 833-288-0973. Don't be afraid. If you're going to put it in the chat,
We'll talk sports.
yeah, call in, man. Our audience here in San Diego, California. Nothing makes them happier than when we talk Chargers offensive line. Now, they're not trying to be a jerk here. There are other options for that in town. And that's not us, but call in and I want to talk to you. I really do. 833-288-0973.
We were just talking before the show about what we're going to do, picking some NFL teams this
Yeah,
season,
yeah,
getting
yeah,
into
yeah.
it a little bit more. So, yeah, but right now we're
just getting
we're a
loose,
day
man.
after the trade deadline. The Padres are still in this thing. They won
Paco,
yesterday.
I also need to remind you, man. I got to remind you. It's 6 a.m. We're not walking out of here till 10. And we got a bunch of segments and stuff to fill. We have to get lubed up. That's what foreplay is. We got to get, a little bit of kissing on the neck, maybe a little nipple twisting if you're Ben. And you got to just get excited for the day, and you got to get warmed up. You can't come right out at 6 a.m. I mean, unless something major happens. And we've done that plenty of times. We actually talked about it before the show. I go, should we just go right into the moves? And I go, and then Ben's like, I mean, we've got 4 hours to talk about the moves. I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, Paco, if you call in, we can talk, and I forgive you. You're just new. Sometimes new scares you.
Absolutely.
Did he call us old farts, though?
He did. He must be
Paco,
the
I
next
am
generation
32.
of tier ones.
I mean, I'm 48. Ben's 47. I don't think we're that old. All right, well. Okay. I mean, what I don't know where to go from there.
I was laughing. I think it's funny.
I
That
think
you can
Justin
be in
Herbert's
a
pretty good.
Ben
How do you guys
Woods
think
YouTube channel and wonder-
Eric Kendricks is going to do in that linebacker core for the Chargers?
You
this
just
year?
Googled
I don't
Chargers
have
linebackers,
any
didn't you?
idea who Eric.
No, I have their
Kendricks is.
depth chart
Yes.
up like I always do every morning.
Oh, I
as
wonder
we
if
start the show.
I wonder if it was a burner of somebody. That's your wife suggested that. It makes sense to me. I could see certain people doing bits like that. I couldn't you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all hatched out of your diabolical brains. Somewhere.
What is mine?
Bits and burners and everything
I
that
think we
M-
scared
mine?
you find
Paco away.
entertaining.
I don't have any burners.
You find it entertaining, though. You
I do.
absolutely do.
Oh, I do. I absolutely do. Well, thank you guys for the compliments. The people that like foreplay and hearing about our kids and whatever else is going on, because man, we've got to get loose in the morning. You have to get loose. You got to get the vibes right. I mean, it's you can't score all your runs in the first inning. I'd love to have our best. Oftentimes this is our best segment of the day. Paco has derailed that a little bit, but it definitely happens. And Paco, when you go to a Ben and Woods fan page, you can't be surprised that people like Ben and Woods in there. That just, it can't surprise you that much. speaking of fans and whatnot, I want to try to find the trailer. I think there's some curse words in it, Paulie. Did you guys see the preview for the new music documentary coming out about Nickelback?
Ooh,
No.
I saw it yesterday and I went, I'm not a Nickelback
they're
fan.
Canadian. Why would
They
there
are.
be any bad words in the
Well,
documentary about Nickelback?
There definitely are.
They're
And
pretty hardcore.
Oh.
And I said, I want to watch this. It looks incredible. And he says, it's the trailers. They show you a lot of the good parts. He says, quote, no one picks up a guitar to be in the most hated band in the world. He goes, you can blow off about 90% of the things you hear, but there's about 10% of stuff you cannot blow off. And I'm like, I have a feeling I'm going to come away from this being a Nickelback fan, or at least a Nickelback respecter, right? It looks fantastic. And I know you don't watch
it. It's called the documentary is called Hate to Love.
Hate to Love. And it's coming out soon. And I went, oh, I got to tell Ben about that. I got to tell Paulie about that. I bet it's really well done. And talking about like that it would suck, except when you're on stage and there's 35,000 people there. You're like, I don't get it. Do all these people hate us? Like, look at all these people. They're here for us. It's very similar to what we do as well, except on a smaller scale. It's so true. It's like nobody wants to do this job if people don't like you at all. And why do you listen if you don't like us? But why do you go to our YouTube chat if you don't like us? It's very, very strange how that works as like a performer. But I think
you taught me that with Howard Stern. If you watch the movie, where it's the people love you. The people who love you listen 2 hours a day. Here are the people who hate you. They listen 4 hours a day to the.
Why
do
they listen? They want to see what he'll say next. Roman, I will cut you. Roman says more Chargers talk in the.
I'd rather talk about Nickelback.
I would too. I'd rather talk about Bo's bowel movements than the Chargers.
Maybe we'll get a Nickelback song coming up here on our Daily Ditty. It is kind of a hate to love theme. It's songs that we think would annoy Woods, but are kind of good. Now, did we get a pick from yesterday's winner, John?
Yes.
All right, he's going to get the Daily Ditty selection that always starts our second segment of the day, coming up a little after 6:15 here. Later on today, though, we got a couple of, I don't know, we always end up with multiple AJs. Last week it was AJ Cassavell and Adam Jones.
Yep. Now we have AJ Preller.
Then it's AJ Preller. Yeah, we're going to talk with the general manager of the Padres on the
Morning,
day
guys.
after the trade deadline. AJ Preller is going to be with us at 8:35 this morning to discuss the moves that were made yesterday, the impact on the San Diego Padres. And, of course, we do have Adam Jones again. Joins us every Wednesday. He'll be with us at 7:35. Until then, we've got Don't Do This, Take on Woods, all of our usual features, and we'll get into all of the moves yesterday that the Padres made. Our reactions, if you didn't hear some of them on the Roundtable show yesterday, we'll have more of them coming out.
Oh, how dumb are we for not just playing the Roundtable for the
First hour.
I didn't even think
We
about
could have
that.
totally worked that in.
Idiot.
7:00.
Get ready for the Roundtable.
Lots of moves to talk about.
So many.
I just want to talk about 10:05.
And,
Yes.
and 305.
Of course.
10:05 and 305.
Of course.
Amazing.
We will
It's
get to
incredible.
that coming up
Clockwork.
next. Good morning to everybody, especially Paco,
Paco, I love you, man.
on
Love
San
you,
Diego's
Paco.
#1 sports station. Let's get our first check of traffic with Kelly on a Wednesday here on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, wow.
How did listener John do?
I mean, I don't hate this song. How would you be mad at this song? It's pretty. Captain and Tennille?
Captain and Tennille was a Take on Woods answer yesterday.
Yeah, Muskrat Love. It's a good song, right?
I mean, it comes from that yacht rock genre.
Sure, I
that's
love yacht
definitely
rock.
more Ben than Woods.
It is. Tennille had a very nice voice. They married?
Yeah,
They were married.
They're husband and wife.
Husband and wife duo. Oh, it's fantastic.
Muskrat Love.
Don't get it.
Is just kind of, it's weird, a little weird there.
You think? Yeah.
You don't have to get a lot of references to muskrats in really any walk of life.
What's the? I wonder what the background on that song is. I'll do a deep dive while you're talking
Muskrat
about
Love deep dive.
golf or something. Yeah.
I have no plans to talk about golf, although at the moment there's not much going on.
Okay.
Waiting for the Ryder Cup. You got the FedEx Cup playoffs coming up.
Timmy in the chat says, first time listeners, it's the Los Angeles Charger flagship. It's not. It's not enough. We're not doing this. Okay.
Kyle, thank you for the huge super chat earlier, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. This is not going to happen.
All right. Paulie just said 10:05, 3:05.
It's incredible.
What does that mean? I mean, we knew it. If you were listening yesterday near the end of the program, we had gone 4 hours refreshing our timelines, listening for any hint of rumor of a Padres trade, what was going to go down.
And honestly, doing not so great radio as we're kind of like in the waiting zone of like,
right.
This is happening. Let's mention this.
We
but
were
we're kind of looking at each other going, we needed something.
Talks are heating up between Padres and so-and-so.
Even a rumor.
But on a day like yesterday, you kind of keep everything open because you don't want to make massive plans with interviews and everything in the last couple of hours of the show and then have to throw everything out the window because the Padres make a big trade and we're all reacting to it and we're taking calls and we're discussing it. So then you end up from at least like 8 to 10, just kind of twiddling your thumbs and waiting. Okay, we know some move must be coming down. When is it coming? When is it coming? And I think Woods said it's the radio rule, at least for us, when you're waiting for something to break during your radio show and your radio show ends at 10, you can pretty much guarantee 10:01 is when the news is going to break. Well, it didn't break at 10:01. It broke at 10:05 yesterday about the Padres' first move of the day, their trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates to acquire G-Man Choi and Rich Hill. 10:05. I mean, we went 4 hours waiting for something to happen. We were literally down the hall, still here, when actually something happened that we would have loved to have talked about, been the first on the air to discuss. I may actually bring it up with AJ Preller when he joins us later. Can you not at least, you don't have to break it to us, but can you let Jeff Passan know by 9:30 next time, just so we can talk in our last segment about your big trade? You must have known by then.
It almost feels personal at this point. And then we come in and do the round table, and that's 2 to 3. And I mean, nothing really happened. Michael Lorenzen was moved during the round table to the Phillies. What was the other one? There was
Austin Hedges.
Austin Hedges to the Rangers. Watch your back, Jonah Heim. And then Tommy Pham to the Diamondbacks. So we have an hour, 6 people to talk about 3 moves. And so what it evolves into basically is, so what do you think the Padres problem is this year? And we ended up talking about that mostly. And I turned my headset off. Thanks, guys. Had a lot of fun. Down to my car, turned the radio on. Guess what? There's 4 more moves. Ryan Weathers is now gone. And yeah, we'll get into those moves.
I blame Adam for that one.
You should
10:05. There's nothing we can really do about that. We get off the air at 10.
No,
you guys know. Everybody knows trades go through at 3:03.
Yeah.
They get finalized at 3:07.
Yeah.
They get reported at 3:09. Happens every year.
Yeah.
Next year's roundtable, if we're doing this again,
2:15 to 3:15
or 2:30 to 3:30, somewhere a little bit later than 2 to 3, like ended at the moment when every single trade seems to break. And then it did. Yes. The Padres traded Ryan Weathers to the Miami Marlins, getting Garrett Cooper and Sean Reynolds back. Garrett Cooper, who has 13 home runs right-handed bat, another option. Adding to Bob Melvin's bench, Sean Reynolds is a AAA arm, but adding a little bullpen depth if they need to call someone up. And then, of course, you had the other move yesterday with the Kansas City Royals picking up their closer, Scott Barlow, who is not having a great season this year and had a really bad month of July, but kind of one of those deals where it made him available, and he had really good years in 2021 and 2022 with ERAs under 3, and he's still under team control for next year. I really liked that move. You could tell by last night's game, Padres absolutely needed some bullpen depth, and this was one of the better arms you could have gotten, I think, at the deadline yesterday that was there. Yeah, they'll need to do a little work, and I'm sure Ruben Niebla can work a little bit of magic with that Padres. A little change of scene, pitching for a contender might have a positive effect as well. So looking forward to seeing Scott Barlow as one of those 7th, 8th inning type options to set up Josh Hader for the rest of the season. And who knows, might be an option to be the closer next year if Josh Hader doesn't come back for the San Diego Padres next year in free agency.
Tell you what, there's another move in there that has kind of gotten pretty sleepy, but that's left-handed pitcher Sean Reynolds. Padres got Garrett Cooper and Sean Reynolds back for Ryan Weathers, and you get Ryan Weathers off to Miami. Reynolds, Ben, is a 6'8" reliever, recently converted from first base, 25 years old. Right now in his conversion season, 2-0 with a 3.50 ERA. He struck out 17 in 18 innings. Tall, strapping dude. I saw a picture of him. I was like, oh, dang, that guy. You know, some guys look like baseball players to you. You look at him, yeah, baseball player. Absolutely no question about it. Looks like a baseball player. Really interested to find out more about him. But yeah, I thought all in all, and we'll get into the trade deadline and the moves the Padres did pretty much throughout the show today, and we'll talk to AJ Preller about it again at 8:35. I was pretty pleased, man. When it was all said and done, I had a really good kind of renewed feeling about, all right, I'm interested to see how these moving pieces work. I was talking to my dad about it this morning, and he told me this morning, he goes, I'm all in on the Padres. I can't stand watching the Yankees anymore at all. They're the worst team. I can't stand it. He goes, he's just going to be following the Padres with us.
What was so unusual about the moves yesterday is that AJ Preller didn't really stun a lot of people. He made a bunch of moves, but if you had been watching a lot of the fan base, at least what I had been seeing on social media the past few days, I think the general consensus was, you want to add at the margins, kind of like Craig Elston has been talking about with us for weeks.
Sure.
Add to the depth, add to the bullpen, add some starting pitching. Don't give up any of your top prospects. That should be the strategy for the Padres. And that was exactly the strategy that AJ carried out at the trade deadline. Did not give up any of his top, depending on what lists really you're looking at, top 10 prospects in the minor leagues to make these deals happen. Yeah, I'm sure, giving up some left-handed arms like Jackson Wolf and Ryan Weathers, it hurts a little bit, but we've seen them not too concerned about what they gave up, like what they got, and they kept all their top prospects.
Yep, I couldn't be happier with what happened. I'm none of those guys are anybody that I felt like are going to kill us long term, and that remains to be seen, certainly. But I was not mad at all with any of these moves that were made yesterday. Really, really excited, in fact, about some of the returns, and going to be fun to see now. There's going to have to be a lot of manipulation to get guys spots, and some guys are going to have to go, and
we already saw a few.
Yeah, I had a couple of DFAs yesterday. Brandon Dixon and Preston Tucker were cleared off the 40-man. Hey, with every coming, there has to be it going, and they'll get the fall out of that today. But we do expect at least most of the new guys to be available today, this afternoon.
Fantastic.
For the series finale in Colorado. Padres went out last night, celebrated the trade deadline with a win. Juan Soto, a big night. We will wrap it up when we come back. Highlights of the Padres 8-5 win over the Colorado Rockies. Juan Soto's big night. A nice job by the spot starter, who hopefully won't be needed anymore, but while he did a good job yesterday. We will discuss all of that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by California Coast Credit Union. With MasterCard Local, CalCoast Credit Union members can earn 5% cash back on purchases made with CalCoast MasterCard credit and debit cards every time they shop at participating businesses. Learn more at calcoastcu.org/shop-local. Well, it wasn't completely without a couple of bumps and hiccups last night, but hey, when you've got your spot starter going and you don't know what to expect, you're at Coors Field. You're going to rely on a bullpen that has already been taxed and struggled at times, especially over the past month and a half. Anytime you walk away with a victory, I'd say that was a good day for the San Diego Padres.
Mission accomplished. Job well done.
We will get to our Padres wrap up, all of Jesse's highlights coming up after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Folks are doing a pretty good job of staying out of trouble on our freeways this morning. Start to see the usual slowing in the usual spots. Yeah, we're looking at you, westbound 52, heading out of Santee. Fortunately, no incidents or accidents to get in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben & Woods.
Let's go! It's our house right here, baby.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner. It's about damn time.
3-2 to McMahon. Pitch on the way, and a line drive into center field. Base hit. That'll give the Rockies a first-inning lead. RBI single, Ryan McMahon, as Profar checks in. 0-1 to Tatis. Long pause by Lambert. Grisham not running, and the pitch hit in the air. Deep to right center field. That is going to be up against the wall on one hop. Trent's at third base. Going to be waved. Doyle's throw comes in. Rogers relay to the plate. Not in time. An RBI double for Fernando. And a 1-1 game here in the third. 1-0. Soto hits it in the air to deep center. Doyle's back at the wall, looking up, gonna go! A missile over the center field fence for Juan Soto. A 3-run homer here in the fifth. And the Padres all of a sudden lead at 5-1. Wilson deals, and this is sky to right field. Tatis going back, he's at the wall, and it's gonna go. Just over the out-of-town scoreboard, a moonshot into the first or second row. It is a 3-run home run for Ryan McMahon. And it is a 1-run game here in the seventh inning. 1-0 the pitch. And Soto hits it in the air to deep center again. Doyle going back at the wall again. Looking up, gonna go again. Juan Soto with his second home run of the night. And the Padres lead 6-4 here in the eighth. 2-1 to Grisham. A hard hit liner up the middle. That's into center field, a base hit. Cronenworth's rounding third. He's on his way. Doyle's throw will be cut off. And an RBI single for Trent Grisham. Padres add on here in the ninth inning. They lead it 7-4. 2 on and 1 out. 3-2 to Kim. Fernando's next. Pitch on the way and a line drive into right center and a base hit. Patton is at third. He's rounding. He's going to come in and score. An RBI single for Ha-Seong Kim. And an 8-4 Padre lead in the ninth. Here's the 1-2 and a swing and a miss. Josh Hader comes on and seals the deal. Rockies get one in the bottom of the ninth inning. That was against Tim Hill. Hader slams the door. And the Padres bounce back and even the series with an 8-5 win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little dicey there. We got close, which, at the time we were hoping we didn't have to. We were trying to get, through this game with as many as not having to use as many of our plus guys we could. Obviously, I had to at the end. But, the add-ons, we had some pretty good defensive plays too, and certainly, Suarez and Hader shut it down. So we've done this often to where we've had a really, really tough loss. I think almost every time we've come back and won.
Love it.
Padres have won 4 out of 5.
That they have 4 out of 5.
It's as close as you can get to 4 in a row without getting to 4 in a row, which they still haven't been able to do all season long. But they did get the win yesterday. Felt like they had to have it, give themselves a shot at taking the series this afternoon at Coors Field, and then they're back home for 4 against the Dodgers this weekend at Petco Park. And I have to say, there's nothing that is more reassuring when you're listening to a San Diego Padres game than Tony Gwynn's of satisfaction. It's like, you have a really good bite of steak, and you just like, you go, it's just that, that's good.
When I bite into a Swagyu signature smash burger, I get the same feeling of as the gooey American cheese runs down my chin.
Kind of like Tony does when Juan Soto
Swagyu Chop Shop, simply the best.
Perfect contact, and you can tell on that second home run, the perfect contact. You don't need the rest of Jesse's call. All you need is from Tony Gwynn Jr.
Pitch, and Soto hits it in the air to deep center again.
There it is. That was a nice win, and
Soto hits it in the air to
started fairly dicey. Let's be honest, fairly dicey from Pedro Avila, and I was shocked that he made it through 4 innings. Ben struck out 7, had a lot of swing and miss. Man, really, really good. The walk 3. He did give up the 1 earned run, got out of a jam, and you just had that feeling like, okay, let's continue to grind. I did see a lot of early, oh man, here we go. You're down 1. I'm like, this team sucks. They don't fight. And I'm like, just give it a little time. Give it a little bit of time. It is Coors Field. I thought they played, outside of that. I mean, yeah, there's stuff you can point to. And I was talking about it with you guys this morning. Managing that pen is just, it's roll. Like everybody has a pocket full of Rolaids. We thought Bob Melvin was chewing on root beer barrels. He's not. He's chewing on Rolaids because every time you make a call to that, and hey, Brent Honeywell comes out, he looks pretty good, and he's hitting the strike zone, and he's not walking anybody. You're like, okay, these are nothing against.
He had a good outing.
He did, but
he ended up getting charged with 2 runs because he gave up 2 opposite field
singles.
And then got taken out, and Steven Wilson, who really looked ragged yesterday.
He looked tough, man. But so I'm sitting there.
The 3-run homer to McMahon.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, all right, if I'm Bob Melvin and I see Brent Honeywell out there getting guys out, right? When he gets through 2, should Bob have said, hey, let's not go nuts here. It's like winning $1,000 at the casino. Be like, now I can win $5,000. You know what I mean? I've won 1,000. I can win 5, and we all know what happens. So he comes out, gives it the knocks, and next thing you know, then you go to your next guy. And I saw people say, well, you should have put Tim Hill in there to face McMahon, the lefty. And we saw Tim Hill in the 9th, couldn't throw a strike. It's a snowball effect. And when I watch it, I'm massively sympathetic for what Bob Melvin. Now, hopefully things start to shake out and things start, getting Barlow and all that. Hopefully it helps. But holy cow, I can't imagine when a guy is cruising like Brent Honeywell, who has not pitched in 9 days or something. If you think, oh yeah, I can let me get 3 more outs out of this guy against, not to be a jerk, but against a not so great. I know it's the top of their order, but it's a not so great team. Brent Honeywell's pounding the zone. I'm going to try to roll with him for what it seemed to me like. Okay, no brainer. And then let's bring in Steven Wilson, who's been pretty good, bro. The sweeper does not sweep in Colorado. It's basically like a meatball that hangs down the middle, and that's exactly what was happening. So, should Bob Melvin have known that? Maybe. It just, you go to your guys, you trust your guys, you want to continue to try to find pieces that are going to help you do what? Collect outs. So the big lead goes to Tim Hill in the 9th inning. Now, we've seen Bob Melvin use Josh Hader in non-safe situations. He gets dragged for it. So he tries Tim Hill. Tim Hill, up, down, bounce. It can't find the zone. So then you have to go to Hader anyway. So I think the logic is, why not just start with Hader? It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Managing a really good bullpen is really hard. Managing a underperforming bullpen is damn near impossible.
I feel bad for Pedro Avila today.
Oh, me too.
For a couple of reasons. First of all, the dumb rule in baseball that you have to still throw 5 innings to get a win if you're the starter. In the era of the opener, in the era of, sometimes, 4 2/3 innings is all they're asking out of you, whatever it is, the era of pitch count limits. He did his job better than pretty much anyone else who threw for the Padres, yet he wasn't eligible for the win. They ended up giving it to Robert Suarez, who had a good 8th inning, but Avila should have got the win. The second thing I feel bad about is I would imagine Avila is the one that gets sent down today to make room for Scott Barlow, because he won't be obviously available for the next few days because he just threw
4 innings.
Almost 90 pitches, I think, the longest outing of his year in the big leagues or in the minor leagues. So, that's the move that makes the most sense for the San Diego Padres. So your reward for really an outstanding job of wiggling out of that jam, giving the Padres exactly what they needed, striking out 7, you get no win, and you probably get sent down to the minors for it. And that is the life of a bullpen guy, not a high leverage bullpen guy in Major League Baseball in the year 2023. And he's going to have to try to stay sharp when he goes down, because they could need him for long relief at some point. I know they're getting Rich Hill, so, maybe he doesn't get another start, but they may need Pedro Avila at some point this season, and he's going to have to try to stay sharp coming off that outing yesterday.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and what he's done, though, is he's earned a little trust, right? And now you got to feel good, even though you are packing your bags and you're probably heading back. You're like, I did my job. I helped this team secure a win. I didn't get a W in the win column, but now Bob Melvin knows and AJ Preller know they can count on me to come in and do a job like that. So I thought it was great.
I didn't realize Tim Hill hadn't been used since like Wednesday of last week. So I don't know if there's a little rust going on because he hadn't pitched since the Pirates series. I'm sure his grandpa Rich will help get him straightened out as soon as he arrives, though, with the San Diego Padres today. Is he great uncle? How are they related?
They're not.
Oh, they're not related. Yeah. Rich and
just
Tim
have
Hill
the same name. It happens.
Not related. Okay. Jake Cronenworth continues to light it up. Another multi-hit game, his 5th in a row.
Love it.
I saw it suggested that the Padres' best trade deadline acquisition may have been Jake Cronenworth from a couple of years ago. All of a sudden, the swing, and Bob Melvin talked about it a little bit after the game yesterday as well. The swing just looks better. It's the bat is staying in the zone longer. He's letting the pitches travel a little bit more, going to the opposite field more. It's just resulting in more hits, more line drives, and it just feels more like the Jake of the first couple of years that he was here in San Diego. Hopefully, he can hold on to that feeling, because in terms of the impact, I think that comment was absolutely right. You can do more with a Jake Cronenworth productive in your middle of the lineup than any of the trade moves you made yesterday to impact the rest of the season.
Yeah, no question. And it's good to see. And the swing is definitely different. Not trying to yak everything out, pull everything out to right field. And he just looks good. He looks like Jake. And it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, you'll take a crappy April, May, June, July for a real, part of July for a really good August, September, October, wouldn't you, every time? So I hope he continues on his torrid pace right now. He's been really, really good.
Speaking of torrid, Joe Musgrove's been red hot on the mound lately, and he will pitch in today's series finale. We'll have it for you here on 97.3 The Fan. 12:10 first pitch San Diego time, 11:10 a.m. pregame show with Sam Levitt. A little nervous, obviously, about this one. Padres, series finales have not been the best. Now, remember, Joe, the last time the Padres went up to Coors Field, he didn't even go because his that elbow thing, the swelling that he had gotten, the bursitis,
the bursa
was
sac,
affected by the altitude a little bit.
Yep.
So they kept him at home. They did that with Blake Snell, and Yu Darvish apparently aren't even on the trip with the Padres because they didn't want to subject them to the altitude effects when they were going to have to come back and pitch against the Dodgers at Petco Park this weekend. So hopefully Joe doesn't have too many effects of that, because they really need him to come through today. Facing Kyle Freeland, a guy who Padres have struggled against in the past. Now, he has not won a game since May. He is not on the best of streaks, but just feels like Kyle Freeland always seems to have the Padres number when they go up against him. So a really big one today. Padres get 2 out of 3 in this series. It's not the sweep that we were hoping for, but you're never, ever, ever going to complain about a road series victory, especially in a place
not at Coors Field,
where the Padres, I think, what are now 8-16 in their last 24 games at Coors Field. Just not a place where they win a lot of games. You win a series there, even against the last place team, I think you can feel pretty good about yourself going into a 4-game set against the Dodgers this weekend at Petco Park.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, big night from Juan Soto last night. Just, I mean, the sense of relief I had when he put that ball over the fence for the 3-run bomb. I thought some great ABs from Grisham last night as well, getting on to get those runs in, and the insurance knock later. Tatis had a couple big RBI. That was great. Slow night from Manny, rough night from Manny, rough night from Xander. But, listen, I like the other guys stepping up and taking control of the game. And, of course, having Josh Hader to come in and slam the door. I mean, we saw a glimpse into our future without him if we had moved him yesterday, and it didn't look like it was going to be pretty. So I was very pleased and very happy about last night's win. That one felt good. Got me on my feet again in the ninth, walking around and kind of pacing in front of the TV. And I'm excited, man. I was excited by the moves yesterday. I was excited by the way they played last night. Didn't give up, didn't quit. Went out and won a baseball game yesterday, which is something they so desperately needed. And now you got to do it again.
Throwing it, guy.
And Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, just the knock late in the game to score runs. It's just incredible.
The 3-run home run that made it 5-4.
5. Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, we were
I texted you guys. I said
we
can't do this
lose
again.
this game.
This cannot happen again.
You had a good day. Do not ruin it right now.
Yeah, like
you've been in control of this game the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get this win.
Get
please,
this
for the love
dub.
of God.
And they did. And Soto adding that bomb was just so clutch, man. So clutch. It was very, 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 very neat.
I saw the Padres tweeting, what is it? IYKYK.
If you know.
Apparently Juan Soto, I didn't realize this. August has been his month.
1,200 OPS in his career. Knock on wood. Let's keep that rolling.
And he starts with a 2-homer day in August. So yeah, Padres could, if Jake Cronenworth can get and stay hot here, and Juan Soto has a great August, that goes a long way. Whatever the rest of the lineup is doing toward helping the Padres, who need to put up another good record this month, like they did in the month of July, to continue, hacking into that wild card deficit.
So coming up next, let's talk about these new additions, and let's talk about how you see them, Ben, slotting into the Padres lineup, where we're going to use them and how.
It's a good topic. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Got a Take on Woods game coming up as well. It's all next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Garrett Cooper's already on my nerves, and he hasn't even gotten
Sorry
to
about
town.
that,
I can't believe that you've ruined Garrett Cooper for me. He hasn't not even suited up yet.
Is this my that's what's in moment?
I think so. Yeah, potentially.
That's what's in.
So stupid.
Should I share?
Yeah, you have to now.
No, they acquired him. I just had the thought. You never know who's going to be instrumental in a
I don't like it
playoff
at
run.
all.
I came up with the perfect novelty song already for Garrett Cooper. And it's the song you hate the most.
Number one.
In
the
like
world.
on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I was not going to pick this for my Diddy tomorrow.
But we change putting on the Ritz to putting on the hits for Garrett Cooper. He's super duper, like Gary Cooper. And you get a band behind it. We'll make it work. It'll be a sensation in San Diego. Everybody will be singing.
I lay in bed at night and I sometimes wonder why. Why me?
Like, what did we do?
What did I
to
do?
Deserve
How
this?
bad is my karma to deserve him wanting to do? Is it who sings the song?
Taco. No,
Taco.
Is it Taco?
What is it?
Taco.
Play me a little of that turd.
Do I have to?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Let's let him work this bit out live on the radio. If he's going to do it to me at a break, you guys have to be subjected to it too.
Is this it?
Yeah, this is definitely
it.
This is definitely Garrett Cooper. Super duper. Putting on the hits.
This is like if diarrhea was a song. Yeah.
I'm making this into an entire Take on Woods category someday.
This song?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Listen.
Trying hard to hit like Garrett Cooper. Super duper.
I need to throw something at him. That's your whole bit. This is the creative.
Where are
that
those squishy baseballs? We just start pelting him.
This is why Woods is more in charge of the creative elements of the show. I'm a little more of the function and form.
What would our show open sound like if Ben was
in charge? And it's hard because he has ideas and I want to be supportive and I don't like.
We've developed our roles fairly well over the years. And I try to stay in my lane most of the time.
You're definitely the long inning guy, and I'm trying to close it out. And I just please don't when I'm. And he's like, I have this idea. I'm like, it's good. It's good. We'll table it. Let's table
your topic though, and I think Garrett Cooper is one of the more interesting guys in terms of how are the new acquisitions going to be used.
No doubt. And if you let's ask this question too. Which San Diego Padre was probably most bummed about the acquisitions yesterday?
Well, I mean,
it's got to be Jay Cronenworth, yeah.
I think the acquisition of G-Man Choi makes Matt Carpenter completely expendable.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
The acquisition of Garrett Cooper, the right-handed bat, is a little more interesting. That the Padres have been getting some decent production with Gary Sanchez and Luis Camposano, trading off a designated hitter, but maybe that's not sustainable for the rest of the season, and you're going to need another right-handed DH, and I guess that's the role that Garrett Cooper can probably fill, but he plays first base, as does G-Man Choi. So you have two people who are coming in that play Jake Cronenworth's position.
They're both pretty much platoon versus left or right-handed pitchers, right?
Correct.
Mike B in the chat says Coop can also play the outfield a little bit, so that'd be great. Yeah, just a little bit more versatility. I did think of it. I don't think, this certainly doesn't spell the end for the Jake Cronenworth era in San Diego, and nor should it. But again, it's going to help the bench tremendously. I know Bob talked about G-Man Choi's ability to pinch hit as well. I think just gives you a few more options, and it lengthens your bench a lot. And I think, you kind of take it as it comes. And hey, listen, you want to stay in the lineup. If you're Jake Cronenworth, best thing to do is start having multi-hit games every day. Going to be tough to pull Jake out.
If he can play outfield, it does give you the option to really get guys off their feet without impacting the lineup every single day, because you can give Xander Bogaerts a day off at short and move Ha-Seong Kim over. Jake plays second, and then you've got two guys that can play first. You can give Manny a day off, and
this feels like spring training. This feels like spring training again, as we're trying to.
You can put
Gary Cruz
in the corner outfield, move Tatis to center, give Trent Grisham a day off. You can get Tatis or Soto off their feet for a day.
Yeah, no doubt.
It does give Bob Melvin a lot more flexibility when you can't really give guys day off in the lineup because you need their bats, you need to win these games. But if you asked every single guy on the Padres roster to play every single game the rest of the season in the field, 9 innings, all the way through, it doesn't matter if they make the playoffs. They'll be completely spent by the time they get there. So you do still have to occasionally find ways to give guys a breather and a rest going down the stretch, and they will have a much greater ability to do that based on yesterday's acquisitions.
Now, is Matt Carpenter out of a job today?
Very good chance of it, I would think. I mean, how are you going to fit? You have to add 4 guys to your 26-man roster. Maybe not all today.
I think they have 25 on there now, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I saw last night. Sullivan probably goes down. You don't really need him now that you can, rotate Gary Sanchez and Campy. One guy catches, the other guy can DH or sit the bench, and he's got a power bat coming off the bench. Garrett Cooper will need to be added, so you could sub out Carpenter for him. Rivas is gone. Batten is like, I don't know. I mean, who else is on the bench that you would need? Carpenter and Carpenter for Cooper, Sullivan for Choi, and who am I missing?
Well, there's 2 pitchers coming in.
I'm
not sure whether, like we just said, probably Avila, after getting used so much yesterday,
he's probably
gets sent down. I'm not sure who the other, if it's another pitcher, gets sent down in their place. But I mean, they'll find a way to do it. It is interesting how they'll manage it, and will they really, with a year plus left on his contract, is this going to be really it for Matt Carpenter with the San Diego Padres?
About $12 million he made, or was it more?
It's going to be 12 over the 2 years, I believe.
Do you guys? I know, Ben, throw out the number for Take On Woods.
833-288-0973. You want to qualify our new trip to Vegas this month? Up for grabs, but you got to play our musical trivia game. It is coming up in about 3 minutes. 833-288-0973. The phone lines are wide open. This is your chance to sneak in and take on Woods in just a moment.
Now, we have AJ Preller joining us in about an hour and a half. Do you guys want to hear? He was asked about Matt Carpenter yesterday. You want to hear that, or you want to ask him yourself in an hour and a half?
No, let's hear it right now.
All right. Here's what this was on the Zoom press conference yesterday after the deadline.
I think I think I think with our 26-man roster, obviously when you make a few of these moves, I think that's kind of the next step, sitting down with Bob and, Josh Stein and Ruben and a few of the people here and just making sure, hey, this is the game plan for the first thing is for tonight's game and tomorrow's game. And then, we'll get to that a little bit more here as we get into, the conversation a little later this evening and tomorrow about what it looks like for the next few weeks, kind of what some different roster constructions look like for the next couple of months.
Well,
what do you expect there with him? Because with the new moves there, it looks like he's not going to have a place in this team. And what do you take away from just the decision to give him 2 years and $12 million for guaranteeing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Matt, I think obviously he has a player option for next year. And again, like I think there's I think we see opportunity where Matt specifically, he's on this roster and he's contributing. There's a lot of different ways he can contribute. Obviously, with his bat is the most important way. But again, those would be conversations that I have with the staff here over the course of the next few days, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bode well for him. And in Kevin Acey's piece this morning, in his newsletter, it's crazy to think about it. And I know he has not been a good player here at all, but he says this: it was a short 6 months ago. I was batting third for the Yankees. I just don't know. I'm always going to prepare like I'm going to play. I'm always going to cheer and root on my teammates, regardless of my own personal situation. I'm going to pull for us to win no matter what day. That's all you can do. Take it day by day. Obviously, I'm aware of the situation. I'm still on the roster, so I got to prepare like I'm going to get an opportunity. If it comes, I'll be ready for it. If it doesn't, we'll move on to the next thing. Yep. When they signed here, I was really excited because I got about 10 texts from people that have covered Matt Carpenter in their career, and this is a great dude. Now, we've only talked to him the once, and he was super nice, super cool. He's pro. He gets it. He knows kind of what's coming today, though, I would imagine.
We need you need to be persistent. I saw some people calling in. We don't always answer them right away. So when you call in for Take On Woods, keep calling 833-288-0973. Do you think the players union would frown on trying to hypnotize a guy into declining his player option for the next year?
Yeah.
Would that be frowned upon?
Yeah, I think so.
Think the union would go for that now.
Listen to the sound of my voice.
You
You
don't want to be.
decline your player option.
You will
in
decline
2024.
Guys gonna make 12. He's gonna be playing golf in like a week with 12 million bucks in the bank, over the next 2 years. So not the worst gig if you can get it.
No, and obviously he will. I mean, that's his right. He has earned it. He signed the contract, and you got to live by those terms. So even though Padres probably don't have a place for him, and that's what I heard from AJ. It was a lot of GM gobbledygook there.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't made a final decision or talked to him yet, so I'm not going to tell you in the media what we're about to do, and I will pretend like we're going to have a lot of decisions to make. But I think the handwriting's pretty clearly on the wall.
Yeah.
What's coming up here in the next couple of hours?
Yeah,
probably.
no doubt. And it, hey, listen, that's 12 million bucks, man. You spent. Holy smokes, that's $12 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of cash for a really.
It was. I mean, it would have been a great story if he had continued his production from last year with the Yankees and done that with the Padres, along with Nelson Cruz. It looked like it could have been a great DH platoon tandem. Didn't work out that way for the Padres.
But you need to go out, and we needed AJ to go out and find the guy that you thought and hoped Matt Carpenter would be. Yeah. And I think he did that.
I do too. I like the moves from yesterday. I'm excited to see these guys in Padre uniform, and if it does come down to Matt Carpenter being on his way today, wish him the very best. Seemingly a really, really great dude, great family guy. But yeah, man, at that level, with this team and the expectations, you have to produce. And he was given opportunities early, and then you lose trust. And I don't remember the last time I saw him swing a bat. I really don't.
I don't either. It's been a while.
10 games or something. I honestly have no idea how long it's been.
You know what? We talked about that a little bit too long. I don't want to get off of our clock too much. Let's push take on what's back a little bit.
Okay.
We'll get to Don't Do This coming up next. A couple of stories that make you shake your head from the world of sports. We also had a big moment last night. What a good day for one franchise in particular.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball. We will get to all of that coming up with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here. Be right back with more on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
It's good to see Sam Levitt in person yesterday
Always.
during our roundtable. You can listen to Sam's podcast, Inside San Diego Baseball, where he covers everything going on with the Padres. Just find it at 973thefansd.com, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Woods, you're a well-read dude, English major in college, at many colleges.
Many colleges, yes.
Which,
Several.
I think makes you even better read.
More well-rounded.
The more colleges you go to,
The more
the
books you can
smarter you
read.
are, right?
I think that's what
So
they
you
say.
know the story of Pandora's box.
Of course.
And what happened in Pandora's box?
You can't open Pandora's box because you'll get got.
That is pretty much it,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, don't open
Is
Pandora's
she a
box.
mythological creature who, just curious, she opened the box and all the troubles of the world got out. And she tried to close it real quick, like stuff them back in. Can't get them back in. Once they're out of the box, they're out there, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I will start Don't Do This with what seems to be a bit of a Pandora's box. Sports, professional, college, otherwise, in this country, they have opened the door to gambling through sites like DraftKings.
Oh, yeah.
Online gambling sites have become very prevalent. At the same time, it has remained a big time no for anyone who participates in college sports and professional sports to use any of those sites. So they all advertise with the NFL
It's so
and NCAA all
wild.
the time, but it's prohibited for athletes to do it. But once you've opened that box and it's out there, we are seeing more and more stories in the NFL and in college sports about guys who just make a bad decision and start gambling on those sites and then get in trouble. Indefinite suspensions happened again yesterday. Iowa State quarterback Hunter Deckers has been accused of betting on events, and not just sporting events, but events involving his own team, the Cyclones, including a 2021 football game. He's been charged with tampering with records related to an ongoing investigation by the Iowa Criminal Division. The District Court alleges there were 366 bets totaling just under $2,800 placed on a DraftKings Sportsbook account linked to Deckers, including 26 on Iowa State sporting events, one at least on a football game against Oklahoma State in 2021. Now, he didn't play in that game, and it doesn't say whether he bet on or against the team. The Cyclones did win 24-21.
He bet on that game, though.
He did bet. That's what they're alleging, that he did at least bet on that game and other Iowa State sporting events. He was also underage at the time. The legal betting age in Iowa is 21. He was not 21. Did it to disguise his identity with the help of his parents. Good job parenting,
What?
Mr. and Mrs. Deckers.
You're kidding.
But after that, he became the starter, started all 12 games last season, and is their expected starting quarterback for this season as well. He is going to plead not guilty to the charges, but is stepping away from the team in the meantime during the investigation.
Oh man, I was gonna do one. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna go a double do this, a little extra dose of positivity, Paulie. So if you would, please.
mega doo-doo.
Came down during the trade deadline roundtable yesterday that Detroit Tigers pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez, they had a deal, the Tigers and the Dodgers, to send Eduardo Rodriguez to the LA Dodgers, having a really fantastic season. And he, in a perfect do this fashion, said, I'm good. I'm gonna decline. I have 10 teams that I won't play for. And the LA Dodgers were one of them. I thought that was a really, really do this type moment. To be honest, I was a little nervous about it because it's a good pitcher. Good pitcher. We faced the Dodgers this weekend. We got a 4-game set with those guys. I didn't want to square off against Eddie Rodriguez, Ben, and I know they were in the mix for Dylan Cease as well. But no, he exercised his option. We should all get Eddie Rodriguez jerseys and root for him anytime we see the Tigers and that young man.
I mean, the Padres could have been on that no-trade list as well.
I don't
Would
know.
that change your opinion of Eduardo Rodriguez?
I mean, What ifs? I have no idea.
You know, it's an interesting.
All I know is what was reported.
He's
then I'm just a reporter.
He's got
That's
an
it.
opt-out in his contract, so he could become a free agent. He's having a really good season.
We know where he's not
You
going.
could really showcase yourself pitching in the playoffs. You have a great postseason. You know,
What does that
for
tell
the
you?
Dodgers.
What
You
does that
make
tell you?
Huge amount of money.
No, what does that tell
Yet
you?
he's passing up that opportunity to possibly stay in Detroit.
What does that tell you?
I don't know. Is it a do this or is it a don't do this
it's a do-do.
decision?
Why do you
for
want
Eduardo Rodriguez?
why do you want
mega doo-doo.
why do you want Dave Roberts to have Eduardo Rodriguez so badly?
What if he's the guy that would end up taking their season though? Goes over and
Pretty good
because he doesn't
pitcher.
like it in LA, pitches really poorly for them.
Pretty good pitcher.
He has been good this
Yeah,
season.
he has. I love that. I loved that story.
All right. Well, this can be either way as well, but I mean, what a day yesterday for the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. Made the biggest move on deadline day when they reacquired Justin Verlander from the New York Mets. Now, they did give up their top prospect. What's his name? Logan Gilbert? Drew Gilbert.
Drew Gilbert.
Their
You
top
and Bob
prospect.
Nightingale called him Logan.
Why is there a Logan Gilbert?
Yeah, he pitches for the Mariners.
That's why. Okay. Drew Gilbert. But they also got the Mets to pay $35 million of his $58 million remaining. And
if I was an owner, it would be Steve Cohen.
And by the way, if Verlander ends up triggering his opt-in for 2025, the Mets will kick in $52.5 million out of the $83 million as well. So they not only get Justin Verlander back to their rotation, then last night facing the Cleveland Guardians, Framber Valdez tosses a no-hitter needing just 93 pitches in a 2-0 win.
Unreal, man.
It is the 16th no-hitter in Houston Astros history. Although the first by a left-hander.
Staggering.
The Houston Astros, who are about 5 minutes older than the San Diego Padres, who have
16!
who have had one no-hitter, and it took them more than 50 years to get that one. The Astros have had 16 no-hitters in franchise history.
I got the ESPN push notification yesterday. It said Astros is Framber Valdez throws his first career no-hitter and shutout victory over Guardians. And just the way it was phrased, like throws his first no-hitter. Like everybody gets one. And I was thinking about it took San Diego 50 years to get one. They've had 16. Like they've had so many that they're like, well, this is his first.
His first. We have a rotation of guys that now they have like 7 no-hitters, I feel like, between them.
I heard DA talking about this as well. What surprised me this morning, do you know how many of those 16 no-hitters were thrown by Nolan Ryan?
0.
One. Just one.
Through-
Now they've had some
with
multi-pitcher
Texas.
ones in recent years. Yeah, through a lot of them with Texas. They've had
Verlander has
They had one in the World Series last year that I had almost forgotten about against
Wait.
the Philadelphia Phillies. A combined no-hitter.
They
in the
did?
World- Yes, they did.
Oh my God.
Totally.
But
Forgot
the
about that.
last regular season one was by Justin Verlander,
Yeah.
who is now
Jeez,
back with
man.
the team as well. He has 3 on his own in his career as well, and he returns to that. Houston pitching staff looks quite formidable now.
Sure does.
Coming down the stretch with Verlander back and Framber Valdez looking like he's rounding into late season form as well. So, yeah, very good day for the Houston Astros and their fan base yesterday.
None from Roger Clemens. None from Randy Johnson was there for a hot
One of
minute.
the first no-hitters I remember
Mike Scott
was Mike Scott.
Mike
Yeah,
Scott,
like
he was-
1985.
The dude was unreal, man. Him and Nolan in the same rotation, like ridiculous. Mike Scott was so good. I think he had the splitter. The splitter, I think, was his pitch, and he was nasty when we were kids.
The Astros got started quickly. They had like 2 in their first 3 years, 4 in their first 7 years of franchise existence, while the Padres waited over 50 years for No Joe to get his done.
Ours was perfect, other than the fact that it didn't come here. It was just absolutely perfect with Musgrove throwing it. So, holy cow, man, that's a pretty good day there, buddy.
Let's don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
By the way, looking at just some of the other scores from last night, not really. I agree now that we're past the trade deadline. It's not a day-to-day. You're checking every score in the wild card race. You got a lot of the teams facing each other, like I said. So Padres won, gained ground on the Marlins and the Reds, who both lost yesterday, and the Diamondbacks, who lost yesterday. But the Giants and Phillies and Cubs all win. Cubs 7 home runs, 2 by
Dude.
Dansby Swanson. They've become a force to be reckoned with here as they have climbed their way definitely back into the thick of things in the National League wildcard race.
And it's crazy because Stroman, who was lights out for so long this season, has been pitching horribly as of late. So the offense is carrying those guys right now. Justin Steele's having a monster year. They're tasting a little bit of that magic right now in Wrigley.
By the way, many don't do this. Did you see how the Mets lost?
Oh
last
my
night?
God, I did a bulk off.
It was they brought in a new pitcher, bases loaded, bottom of the 10th inning, tied with the Royals 6-6. And the new pitcher comes in, and I don't know if he actually had a pitch comm issue or he was trying to fake it out, but he kind of did that thing where he's kind of tapping on his ear, and the umpire came out, and the third base umpire goes, "No, that's a balk."
That's a balk.
Before he even threw a pitch, he committed a walk-off balk to end the game, giving the Royals a 7-6 victory. And why that's also notable, that was the 4th straight win for the Kansas City Royals, which leaves the San Diego Padres
Oh my God.
and the Washington Nationals as the only teams
way.
in Major League Baseball now that do not own at least one 4-game winning streak through the first 4 months of the baseball season.
Incredible,
Not
man.
a single one of them. Even the
Incredible.
Royals, even the A's have
A's
a
have
4-game winning
7.
streak. They have a 7-game winning
Yeah.
streak. Yeah.
What'd the Reds have? 12?
Reds have, they got
They had
I think
12 or
double
something?
digits,
Oh my
12.
God.
But
All
the
right.
Padres and the Nationals
Still
remain
time.
stuck
Still
at,
time.
at 3 as their maximum winning streak. Hey, you can do it get a win today and then take the first 2 from the Dodgers.
Love it.
That would be a great way to do it this weekend for the San Diego Padres. All right. Saw a lot from Adam Jones this week in his tour of Baltimore, his homecoming to his East Coast home. Get some thoughts on the trade deadline from AJ when he joins us coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? Paulie informs me that we have some Padres tickets to give away later this morning for Friday night series opener against the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers, by the way, getting ripped by their own media this morning for whiffing on the trade deadline, and Dylan Hernandez saying they're not even chasing a championship this year.
Wow.
Dodgers are making their actions very clear that they are not doing what it takes to win it all this year.
Just
Los
in a
Angeles.
holding pattern for Shohei Ohtani, right?
That's
the,
what it
that's
is
the rumor.
Felt like. Now,
wild.
Does that mean that they can't still get hot and go on a run?
No,
it
absolutely
doesn't.
not.
It doesn't.
Absolutely. They're getting Bueller back. They're getting Kershaw.
It does mean as an organization they aren't like pushing all their chips to the center of the table like some other teams might be doing.
It's a cautious approach for them, certainly. Dylan Cease would have absolutely murdered me had they got him yesterday, and White Sox decided to hang on to him. So smart. He's under control for a couple more years.
Let's talk about some of those moves. We've got Adam Jones standing by. He will join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a vehicle flyer northbound side of the 805 just past the 54. It's over to the right shoulder. Now a crash on northbound 5 at Cesar Chavez Parkway. That is in the center divide. Also, you reports of a crash in the North County, southbound 15. This is before Old Highway 395. A couple vehicles involved in this one, not showing if lanes are blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, we got our world traveler, golf buddy on the line, Adam Jones, 5-time All-Star, is back with us on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. I believe still over in the East Coast, Baltimore area, Adam?
Yeah, I'm still here in the land of the fruity and home of the brave.
I love it, man. I love it. I
wrote the Star Spangled Banner, right?
Was it in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Why do you know that?
Well, that was Francis Scott Key. It was the battle right there in Maryland. Wasn't it off the coast where they were watching, like from Baltimore?
Yeah, it's here. That's a tricky subject these days too. That things have been uncovered, but
wow.
It was written. It was written out here, and great history out here with it. So
excellent.
Yeah, I'm still here, man.
We need to play. We need to play that Star Spangled Banner. I think for Adam at some point.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Listen, you got your AL team. The Baltimore Orioles, place you near and dear to your heart. You got your NL team, the San Diego Padres, the city where you grew up. I wanted to ask you your opinions on the trade deadline for both teams. You can start with the Padres.
I actually like the Padres moves. I mean, you went and got the elder statesman in Rich Hill, still kicking, 43 years old. I like Garrett Cooper. If he can get hot, he can carry you for 2 months. I know you're looking for more offense, and I really do like Scott Barlow. I thought he would go elsewhere, but I like him. Good arm. He's the closer there. Obviously, you don't need a closer, but one of the Padres' big problems is getting the ball to our closer. So with him and Suarez getting the ball to Hader, that's really, really formidable. I heard there was a little bit about Salvi. I think that would have been. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame catcher. If you can acquire him, you get him. But Royals are smart to keep on and hold on to him. The Orioles, I think they did a good job. I think they could have done more, but at the same time, it's like they don't need to. They're trusting the in-house guys. I think we talked about that before. Is like, as a player, you trust the guys you go to battle with. When you're outside of it, you're looking for the pieces that fit. Dylan Cease was my top name after Burns, but Burns is obviously unavailable due to the fact that they're winning. But Dylan Cease, I don't know how no team really got him away, because you have 2 more years of control of him, and he's an ace. And the South Side of Chicago, I don't know, they need to implode that organization in some ways. But I like Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty needs a new spot. Baltimore's a great place. He needs a new place. I'm glad he's the hell out of St. Louis. He needs a new place, and Baltimore is a place that he can come and hopefully step in their rotation when healthy and thrive.
What do you think they missed? What do you think they missed out on besides Cease and another arm? Offensively, they went out and put up I think 13 last night. So answering some questions about the offense. But do you think they have enough to, hold off the teams in the AL East? And then most importantly, I mean, I know it'd be big. I mean, you tell us, man, what would it mean for the city of Baltimore to just reach the playoffs? Is it going to be one of those things like, holy cow, like we're in the playoffs again? I mean, such a rich and storied history in that town. And it's been a long time, man, since is that going to be enough just getting there?
Getting there will be enough. Winning it will be obviously the cream. I mean, that's the creme de la creme. They're just yearning for a good team. The Orioles fans, like just being around there, they know that if they win the World Series this year, great. But if they don't, they have a good team next year and the following year. Everyone here is thinking about the future. They're like, well, we got a good team for a while. And when you think like that, that's a good thing. I think that alleviates some of the pressure from the players to where I don't have to win this year. I know we're rebuilding and we're playing good, but I don't have to win this year, win the championship. But like they're building a fantastic team. Offensively, if they continue just to do what they're doing, make the pitchers work, put the ball in play, then they're really, really dangerous. They're not. I wouldn't say they're not the Braves or the Astros in terms of throughout the entire lineup like those guys. But when they put the ball in play, they don't ground in the double plays. They steal bases. They're in the top in baseball, and one of the top teams in baseball in stolen bases. When Mullins comes back, he's has 30 bags already. So they're so dynamic and athletic, and it's fun to watch because, when I was there again, we were big, hairy guys. We swung and missed, grounded double plays, but we hit the 3-run homer and got everybody excited. This team will frustrate you, but they play such a hard game that you keep watching it, and you're intrigued. It's like a fast break all the time. It's like transition basketball.
Adam, you mentioned the elder statesman in Rich Hill, and I mean, you had a long career, and I get you're a position player and he's a pitcher. You went to Japan after your career. You spent a year in retirement. He debuted the year before you did in Major League Baseball. He's 5 years older, and he is still going. What does that say? What does that say about a guy who's still playing right now? I mean, can you imagine in 5 years?
What does that say about you?
Yeah, what does that say about you?
I mean, I ran into a few more walls than he did.
That's true. I get it.
But no. I mean, he's an anomaly. I mean, he's 43 years old and still snapping that curveball, still whipping that leg. It's amazing. Like I had him as a teammate in spring training in 2009 with Baltimore. We released him. He went to independent ball and then revamped his whole career. I mean, just took your cap to him. For first off, keeping himself in shape.
Your entire career. I don't even know how that's possible.
I had to have faced Rich Hill.
It does not come up. There was no at-bats of Adam Jones versus Rich Hill. I mean, teammate in spring training, you says you never faced him once.
I've definitely faced him.
All right, maybe it was in spring training somewhere, but in the regular season, they say
it's almost impossible. That's almost impossible.
That's almost impossible that I didn't face him. I mean, I would have set the curveball, but
I mean, when he was with Boston, he was with Boston for 3 years while you were within Baltimore.
How can that be? How can that be? That can't be right.
I don't think so. I definitely have faced Rich Hill.
All right. Well, call baseball reference because
baseball reference is like Wikipedia. Anybody can put whatever.
I guess so. That's true. now I need to get those numbers. Somebody needs to crunch those numbers right now.
I gotta see.
Talking to our pal Adam Jones here on Ben and Woods this morning. Obviously, teams went out and got better at the deadline. I do feel the Padres were one of those teams. One team that has got to be frustrating, AJ, is the Mets. Now, again, when you're an owner, when your owner can money whip everybody at the beginning of the year and spend all the money for the big contracts, the Verlanders and the Scherzers, but then has to pay like $90 million for those guys to go away. They did get some good prospects back. They will be able to, start to rebuild that team. Do you buy what he said to Max Scherzer, though, when Billy Epler and Steve Cohen said, well, we're probably not going to compete until 25 or 26? I don't necessarily buy that. Do you see Steve Cohen sitting on his hands for the next couple of years watching the Mets rebuild? Because I don't.
No, I mean not someone that rich and like his track record of how he made his money. No, like he's an aggressive man. You're saying you're telling Max Scherzer, a 40-year-old, hey, we want to win in 2 years from now. I'm out.
Yeah, that's it.
Trade me. Only got 2 years left. I'm out. It's the Mets, and it's Showalter. So I know Showalter ain't gonna stick around for no damn rebuild. I know that firsthand. He's too old for that. Number one, and his legacy. Like this is messing with his legacy because this is the year he was supposed to be what the Orioles are, contenders. You know what I mean? This is the year that Buck was supposed to be in the playoffs, in the World Series potentially, but getting there, and it sucks because he's such a great manager. It's part of it. It's part of the business. But yeah, I can't buy Cohen in New York.
Yeah, there's no way.
Not him being the owner he's been when he tweets. The other owners, they were very quiet and they didn't say much. The Wilpons and stuff like that. So okay, they can rebuild and no one can go tell them to, shove it. But with Cohen, he tweets. So you know what I mean? That's a different. He's out with the people. So I don't think he is going to disappoint the people like that. And you have to trade those guys away. If you're not competing, trade the guys away, get as much as you can. That's what the Angels should have did. Trade Ohtani, get 6 to 7 guys, really good studs, and say, Ohtani, I'm improving myself. I'll bring you back after next year for $700 million, part of the ownership stake. And, we got a new team. But no, they're going to hold on to him, not make the playoffs, and lose them.
Well, they said it on the broadcast last night, talking to Adam Jones here on Ben Woods. I think Mud and Don were talking about it with Scan. And, Scan was kind of a, hey, listen, it shows a lot to Shohei Ohtani. They went out and got some pieces. And, they did. They got some pieces, no question. But I don't think Shohei Ohtani looks around and goes, wow, Lucas Giolito? Hell yeah, I'm in. Randall Grichuk's here? Oh, cool, I'll stay. Don said, what's going to get Shohei Ohtani? Money. Money is what's going to get Shohei Ohtani. There's going to be a comfort level.
But he's going to get money from
He's going to get money from, but that's what they're saying. Like the Angels can absolutely keep him. You know how? By paying him the most. And if they do that, there's a good chance he stays.
But there's been more guys like Aaron Judge who have turned down the most money to go where they want to go as well. So you have to get them to want to stay, and you have to give them the money. I think it's two things at once, Adam.
But if you go and trade him, and you get back 3 major league players, or you just go and get the first 8 guys in someone's prospect,
1 through 8,
just 1 through 8, just give them over. You have to show, hey, we'll send the interpreter with him. And if you do that, you rebuild you're going to be a better organization because you have baseball's top players right now. And then you bring them back or potentially bring them back.
Or try,
but if you lose him, you're losing him for nothing. I'm sorry. I do apologize. You get a first-round draft pick.
Right.
Low one.
Yeah. Who knows what that's going to be, who that's going to be, if he turns out to be anything. Like, this is a generational guy who on a team is a generational guy. He also is a generational guy for a whole organizational rebuild, fortunately. You know what I mean? He's that much of a star and talent to where he can get you 7 to 8 guys easily. And, again, I'm not making those decisions. I'm always outside looking in. But it's like if I'm the Angels who haven't won, they don't have the best minor league system, that's well noted. He takes you from an F to a B+ in your minor league system overnight.
I got an update for you. User error. I didn't realize I had it set to a minimum of 5 at-bats.
Oh, okay.
When I reduced it to 1 at-bat, I found that you were 1 for 4 with a single and an RBI against Rich Hill.
Yeah, 250
in your career. Yeah. Well, 250.
Hey, 250 right now is getting paid. What is the going rate for 250?
Well, and no walks with a 500 OPS, so you must have got hit or something by him as well.
I think he drilled me. Yeah, that's about 18 roughly right now.
That's it. Reminds you of that. Okay, I got a follow-up question to Woods' question about Max Scherzer and what the Mets front office told him. Did you always feel as a player that you were getting honest talk from your own front office, or did you always have to filter it like, hey, are they trying to manipulate or do they have an agenda here, or did you generally trust what was coming out of your own organization as a player?
Hell no. I didn't trust it. It's a business. I learned that a long time ago. This is a business. Everybody is saving their own derriere at the end of the day because they'll fire the GM before they fire the players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll fire the manager before they fire the players. So I went into everything just with transparency. Like, okay, what you're telling me? Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. It's crazy. Our GM told me they were going to re-sign Nick Markakis. It was like, we got a contract in line to sign Nick Markakis. Okay. 48 hours later, Nick Markakis is announced as an Atlanta Brave. What do you think I felt? Do you think I wanted to go and, power drive the GM? Business.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, you can see an argument that, the Mets wanted Scherzer to drop his no trade clause, 100%. So they needed to make him not want to be there anymore.
You don't want to be here. We're not even going to compete. So, yeah. Oh, we're actually doing some remodeling. If you're not going to compete,
if you're not going to win, it makes sense because, again, a guy like that, like Scherzer, who still is very, very good, is wanted by people. And it's a great chance for him to still go get a championship at the end of his career. Same with Verlander. Verlander went back to comfort. Good friends with the owner. He went right back to his comfort zone. Eduardo Rodriguez, I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
We loved it. We loved it.
I was surprised too. Yeah.
We loved it. We thought it was
you
fantastic.
Wanted to stay there?
Yeah.
What? Okay. I respect. I mean, again, I made a decision like that too, but mine was going to Philly, and it was to platoon. You're going to the Dodgers.
You're going to start. Yeah.
You're starting. You're probably our number 2.
Yeah, you're every fifth day for sure.
You're in a playoff series. You're probably pitching a key game in October on national television. I mean, it goes well for you. You cash in big time. You opt out of your contract after that. You're writing a ticket.
It doesn't matter where it goes well. It doesn't matter where it goes well for you. As long as it goes well for you, you're writing the ticket. Period. You're going to get paid whether you're a good pitcher in Detroit or LA. I think. The guy doesn't like the Dodgers. I'm not going to hold that against him. Good for him.
If he, nah. I don't know. There's got to be something else there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I heard his wife's a Padres fan, so I like. Yeah, that's it. You guys know the deal.
Is this it for you in the United States?
He likes to be beat up, I guess.
Yeah. Oof. Are you heading back overseas again?
I have another week here in the United States, and then I will be back overseas. And going to Lake Como and trying to get a boat and all that kind of stuff.
Come on. God.
All right. Well, have a nice last week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, hopefully. And as always, thank you so much, Adam.
Always, brothers.
Yep.
Let's go. Come on, Padres. 54 more, baby.
54 more.
Adam
Let's
Jones
go.
On our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Lake Como. The elite of the elite. George Clooney lives there.
They film a lot of great movie scenes there. God. It's beautiful.
I don't even know what I would do over there.
I've never been. It's so fancy.
It's
I've
so
never
fancy. Been. I don't think we have it in us. You know what I mean? Like we don't fit the profile of. I told my wife recently I'd like to go there someday. She goes, we're not good enough. Like it's not. You don't have the clothes. You don't have the watch. Things like that. Like we don't fit.
Like we have that border check station. You go in. You're like, no, sorry, sir.
No.
You're not fashionable enough.
Go.
You don't belong here.
Head south somewhere. You'll be fine.
You know what? We didn't get to play Take on Woods last hour, so let's get to it coming up next. If you've never played before, your opportunity to qualify for Vegas ahead, and then our Incorporator payoff as well coming up here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. AJ Preller will join the program at 8:35. Now, you guys know I purposefully didn't get on the media Zoom yesterday because I knew we were having him on today. So I didn't hear any of his answers because I don't want it to be redundant. That's why I skipped it. You guys know that, right?
Yeah, I saw Ben and Woods on the
Did you? Was that
Zoom,
Paulie?
and Ben Higgins was on the Zoom. I did not see Stephen Woods.
Were you on there, Paulie?
On the Zoom.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I knew he was going to be on. So, yeah.
I know, I didn't ask any questions because I wanted any of my questions to be fresh when we were talking to him today.
Well, do you feel like you got swayed by some other people's questions? That's why I didn't want to go on.
I just wanted to weed out the bad questions. Like,
Okay.
we don't need to ask.
Don't ask him that.
Honestly, I wasn't listening that closely. I had a bunch of things I was doing and working. I was just trying to get ready for a 5 o'clock TV hit.
So you're now
recorded
admitting
it and
that you're doing it for appearances.
No, I had to record it and
Got
put the
it.
sound
Okay, I was
back
gonna
on
say.
TV
All
later.
right.
But I was also writing and editing, so I was only half paying attention to it while it was going on.
Okay.
I
What's
didn't-
worse, not watching it at all or half paying
Not
attention?
watching it at all is worse.
Is worse.
Yeah, that's worse. I mean, I've got my camera and microphone off, so no one knows whether I'm watching it or not or how much I'm paying attention.
But you know.
Well, I know. And I also felt like I knew what he was going to say. He didn't stun anybody with his comments. Most GMs are going to be pretty close to the vest even after a trade deadline at this time of the year.
You think, like AJ in particular, he does not talk about moves that weren't made.
That's what I want to know. Hey, who did you almost get? Oh, you guys would have lost your mind. I almost had Jose Ramirez and Dylan Cease. Oh my God. Yeah, but they wanted so and so. I would be a terrible GM. But so you're telling me, for appearances' sake, should I have logged on? Like Paulie didn't ask any questions. You didn't ask any questions.
No. We were there. You're fine.
Just curious to hear what these
You would have
guys
gotten
say.
lost in the shuffle. There were like 25,
You would have
30
had your
people on
mic
there.
on.
Yeah,
that would have been worse.
Breathing in heavily into the microphone.
Taylor screaming behind
Can
you.
whoever's microphone is not muted, please mute their microphone.
Just wheezing into it. All right. So, but I mean, it doesn't look bad that I did.
I wonder if we'll get a slightly more relaxed AJ today. I mean, after the trade deadline is over, I know a GM's job is never done.
Right.
But essentially, the draft is done. The trade deadline is over. There's not much more you can do. Now, there's always scouting and there's always planning for the future. And I'm sure that his plate will still be very full. But at this point, you've got your team. And you pretty much have to let them go now. You sit on your hands there, and you hope that you've done enough, given your manager enough pieces, and your players perform well enough that you can get where you want to go. So, a little probably nerve-wracking and maybe even frustrating at times. But in terms of the absolute like hair on fire busy part of the season, my guess is that that's over right now for AJ. And we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll ask him. What does it look like now? What is the next step? But yeah, I know that we played some audio earlier of him talking about Matt Carpenter potentially not being a part of the team. I mean, do we need to rehash that with him today?
Don't have to. I mean, we can get updated if they've made any roster moves.
Yeah.
The game's early today.
Yeah, it is.
So, they're going to have a lineup submitted probably in the next hour to hour and a half, which means they need to make their roster moves official and announce them fairly soon. So, those decisions will either come right before or right after we talk to them. So we might be able to discuss if they've talked to the players. I mean, that's the first thing. You have to talk to the players. And then once you've done that, it's going to become public so you can discuss what moves you've made. So I think that's a valid topic to discuss with AJ Preller. Now, he did say, he admitted once again on the Zoom yesterday that they talked about Josh Hader and Blake Snell with other teams. And they had a price, they had a price point in mind. And if someone met it, they were considering trading both of those guys, either or both of those players. But he said no one really got up to where we were even tempted to deal those guys. So, we're very happy keeping them. And especially since they're going for it, wouldn't have made a ton of sense. But yeah, there's a price point for just about every player. And if you absolutely overwhelm us where we have to say yes, they were listening on Blake Snell and Josh Hader.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think like you always say, you'd be a fool not to.
There's a little bit of what AJ had to say just on that particular topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think we looked at all the different scenarios. I think, I think the biggest thing really just kind of seeing what the market was, what was out there from trade scenarios. And we really were, we had attractive players and guys that, very accomplished players. But, if we're going to move off this club, we set certain marks that we were talking about. We never got compelled to really do anything from that standpoint.
Interesting. I want to ask him too. What's the wildest call you got?
Ooh,
like did somebody call and they're like, all right, what do you want for Tatis? What do you want for Soto and Tatis?
You know what?
Would you listen on Manny? Does that happen? I want to know.
You know what I want to know? I want to know how Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal get all the info so quickly. Does he text them directly? How does that work?
Let's ask him.
And how many times a day does Jeff Passan text AJ Preller and say,
I've got his number. I could have texted him too.
Did anything happen? Did anything happen yet? Did anything happen yet? How annoying does that get? How often does he just ghost him and not respond?
Like Paul with me to Paul every day. What's up, dude? What's up, dude?
Does he text someone other than AJ Preller in the organization to find this information?
Is there a leak?
I want to know how
AJ say to Josh Stein, "Hey, it's done.
10:05.
Just sent over the final paperwork text." Let's give this one to Rosenthal.
Go Passan, go.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Not Ben and Woods, 10:05.
I'm dying to know how that actually works.
Yeah, me too.
The inner
They
mechanics.
have a topic wheel, and it's got Passan's face, Rosenthal's face, Nightingale, Heyman, and Morosi, and he just spins it. Like,
Spin the wheel.
Who are we giving it to
It's
first?
like Bob going to the bullpen, basically. You just spin the wheel, and you're like, Honeywell, here we go.
Need a contestant. It's a special
Come on,
8 o'clock
cowards.
edition of Take on Woods. Call now, 833-288-0973. We are going to play. We're going to try to qualify someone for Vegas. If you usually don't listen earlier, this is our musical trivia game. Tier 1 listener versus Woods. 5 questions. It's coming up momentarily, but you got to call 833-288-0973. Coming up later this hour, we've got our incorporator, Jesse Agler, had to work the word gouache, which is a watercolor form of painting, into the game last night. And Paulie tells me
got a funny story about that.
Had a bit of a challenge last night, but ultimately pulled it off as he always does. But we'll do that in our next segment. Then AJ Preller is going to join us at the bottom of the hour live, and we'll ask him if he texts Jeff Passan with breaking news multiple times per day during the trade deadline, or how that actually works. But right now I see people calling in, so let's get to it. It's time to play Take on Woods. Take on Woods. Oh, there you're all calling in. Now I feel bad that we can't take everybody. Let's go to Caesar. Caesar, how you doing, man?
Okay, how are you?
Okay, how are
Love
you? We're good. Okay, so Woods has left the studio. He does not get to hear this part of the game. You get to go first with our 5 questions. If you can beat or tie him on the same 5 questions, you will qualify for our August grand prize drawing. It's a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino and 2 tickets to Kool and the Gang, backed by popular demand after multiple sold-out shows. The legendary funk group Kool and the Gang returning to the stage at the Westgate with their residency through 2024. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Check out the new rooms as well. $70 million in renovations. Home of legendary Vegas fun. Here are your categories today, Caesar. We've got billions and billions. Those are songs with over 2 billion Spotify streams. You're out the keyword in those 5 questions. And the Bible Belt, songs with southern states in the title. So billions and billions, you're out, or the Bible Belt, Caesar.
Let's go with you're out.
You're out. Okay, so out going to be the key word. I'll give you another hint, in fact. Out is going to be the second word of every song title in today's game. Not the first word, but the second word. 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We can come back to it if there's still time left on the clock. First question is our 2-second song. Paulie's going to play a little bit of music. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist based on the short clip to score the point, and we'll go from there. Caesar, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. The category is you're out. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Caesar. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
In 1993, the Gin Blossoms sang about whispers at the bus stop in which of the band's well-known songs?
Off to a bad start. Pass, please.
Maybe 21 Pilots should have taken a Xanax. Instead, they recorded which 2015 mega hit?
Pass.
Ed Sheeran successfully defending a lawsuit alleging which of his hit songs was a ripoff of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
Oh boy.
I picked the wrong category.
All right. The Footloose soundtrack just wouldn't be the same without which Bonnie Tyler song with a 5-word title?
No dice.
All right, go back to the song in the last couple of seconds here. It happens sometimes, Caesar. I'm sorry. I'm glad you called in and played, but I don't think you're going to win today. Let's keep the answers a secret. We'll let everyone play along one more time as we bring Woods back in.
I like that.
See how he does with the same 5 questions in the same 60 seconds. No, yeah, it's normal time. You felt like you're out there for a long time. Time is passing slowly this week. I don't know why.
Bro, today is trash.
All right,
Actually,
60
less
seconds
time.
back
That felt
on
like
the
4
clock.
minutes.
Your
Less
time,
than normal.
your time begins when Paulie plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Caesar.
School's Out, Alice Cooper.
Correct. In 1993, the Gin Blossoms sang about whispers at the bus stop in which of the band's well-known songs?
Found Out About You?
Correct. Maybe 21 Pilots should have taken a Xanax. Instead, they recorded which 2015...
Stressed Out.
Correct. Ed Sheeran successfully defended a lawsuit alleging which of his hit songs was a ripoff of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
Song. The Color of You.
Nope. The Footloose soundtrack just wouldn't be the same without which Bonnie Tyler song with a 5-word title?
Holding Out for a Hero.
Very good. 4 out of 5, and that is a win for Woods today. The only one you didn't get was Thinking Out Loud. And the category?
Let's see. Ing?
No, not
Holding, thinking.
No, not close.
What was it?
Category is You're Out. The second word of every title is out.
Okay.
School's out, Found Out About You, Stressed Out, Thinking
Gin
Out
Blossoms,
Loud,
probably.
and Holding Out for a Hero.
Gin Blossoms, massively underrated band.
Totally.
In my humble.
Now that's our
humble
like
opinion.
senior year of high school.
Yes.
Back early 90s.
Yeah, early
Woods is in his
90s.
prime.
Oh man.
Ready to go
Sounds
to
like the
6
credits of
colleges.
just about every
Of every 90s
movie.
high school song. Song kicks so much ass, man. It really does. Yeah. Listen to that. Got the good 90s jangly, little jangly, and then the just perfect 90s voice. Just memories. Like memories are like flooding in my head.
There's Heath Ledger driving down the 101.
Rest easy, kid. Rest easy, Heath Ledger.
Mm.
God, what a song. Is there a line that I could write that's sad enough to make you cry? Fantastic. Just angst. It was just all angst. I miss it so much.
Very
Everything's so
angsty time.
positive now.
Angsty time, yeah.
I hate this positivity
We had more
crap.
to deal with, I think, didn't we?
No, it's worse
It's
now.
worse now,
Yes.
yeah.
Now is when the angst should be. There's pandemics. There's like everyone's dying.
I feel
it's
like
terrible.
kids are so nice now, though.
They're better. That's the good part.
You know, I watched my kids in the high school, and they had
Mine
their,
too.
They had their stresses and stuff too, but there were so many supportive people.
Yes, yes,
like, you
yes.
know, I mean, it felt like there's still bullies, but there's like 72 people who will bully the bullies for being bullies now, and there weren't those people who would stand up to bullies back when we were kids.
Oh, not at all. Dude.
Now, like,
bro, you bully somebody now, like they're gonna
you're gonna
pull up your
the bully
history.
gets
and
canceled. You get canceled.
Yeah, you're
for
done.
life.
Yeah, somebody they'll hack in and they'll hack into your computer and like steal
Oh, you
your
wanted to
money.
go to college?
Yeah, not happening
Not
now.
getting that job
it's
anymore.
crazy, man. It really. That's true. That's true. But there's more. We know about more stuff now, right? And why were we so angsty back then? We
Mental
had
health.
We had
and
it pretty
know
good
more.
back
Yeah, we
then.
did. I know. All right.
We
Well,
really
we got the incorporator payoff coming up next. We gave Jesse the word gouache, watercolor based painting style to get into the broadcast last night. He did, but not without some challenges. That's coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
We just got a update here.
What happened?
Guess it's a public update.
The Padres just announced that Nick Martinez will start for the Padres today in Colorado.
Oh. Instead of Joe Musgrove.
Bursitis?
Well, we
Here
talked
we go.
about it earlier that it inflamed the last time he went up to
The
elevation.
altitude, yeah.
So that's why they didn't take him on the previous trip.
So he came.
Are you already thinking about the weekend?
Oh, are you playing games here? You getting squirrely?
I know someone we can ask.
Yeah, it's in
about what's going
12
on.
minutes?
Yeah. With Joe and Nick Martinez. Is there injury concerns? Is this a strategic decision?
I mean,
I'm more concerned because
are we good enough to get cute?
Bob Melvin, Bob Melvin and AJ Preller have never been the kind of guys who really get that cute.
I feel like they've done it a couple of times, and I think it's backfired both times. But it's not cute. It's obviously that's the wrong word for it. But it's are you tempting fate a little bit? Are you good
It's not
enough?
you won Monday and you got the series in the bag.
Right? Are you not? We're not good enough right now.
Was it 2019 when they lined up their pitchers for a big series against the Dodgers, and Dodgers were like, yeah, we don't care.
We don't care, and they threw.
Yeah. And it felt like the beginning of the end of that year that fell apart. Like,
But see, Dave did it to us. Dave
He did,
Roberts did it to us,
yeah, he did.
and he said, like, "Oh, I'm lining these guys up to go against San Diego. That's the team in our division. We
don't know. That's just
I
speculation.
know, I'm just guessing. We have hours to fill.
And it's mostly because I hope that would be the case as opposed to
an injury. Yeah, no doubt, man. Oh, that's not good news, man.
It's interesting news.
It is interesting news. Nick Martinez. Okay, so we'll see the bullpen usage. Gosh, man, Joe's been
Back-to-back
so
bullpen
good,
users?
dude.
Well, yeah, but you do have a new piece coming in Scott Barlow.
Yes.
Helps out a little bit.
So last night, Nick Martinez did not throw last night, so maybe
when did Rich
maybe
Hill
he was
last
aware.
throw?
Who?
Rich Hill threw on Saturday. What was the 30th? That was his last start.
That was only a few days ago.
That Saturday? Yeah,
Sunday?
I don't think
Sunday.
he's ready to go.
Cosgrove's available. Barlow, if he's there,
Sunday, yeah.
Barlow should be available if he's there. I'm assuming he is. And Luis Garcia. Josh Hader threw 10 pitches last night. Brent Honeywell 35. He's out. Suarez 15 could probably go for one. And yeah, so Nick Martinez, Robert Suarez, Cosgrove is for fresh-ish. He threw 24 on Monday, and Barlow and Garcia. So let's get it done. If the offense does the job like they did last night, hopefully they're enough ahead that it's not going to hurt you. But it was not something I was expecting.
I'm glad to know that we're going to get an answer to this fairly soon. If I had to wait until the pregame show or Bob Melvin doesn't even do pregame media on day games after
On
night
day
games.
games, yeah.
So I don't know that we would have gotten an answer if we didn't have AJ Preller.
I thought they could
scheduled
just
to join
slide
us
that
here.
in. Oh, Bob doesn't have to talk
No
about
one
it.
has to talk about it.
Crap. We told those idiots that AJ would go on the show this morning.
I mean, you just hate if it backfires. You're
And
like, what the
we
hell?
hear from Kevin Acey in Colorado. Joe Musgrove has minor right shoulder soreness and is being pushed back to the Seattle series.
Oh, not
that
even the
begins on
Dodgers.
Tuesday. So it is a bit of an injury concern for Joe Musgrove. Changes the complexion of today's game quite a bit. And that's obviously...
It changes the line on
You
today's
feel
game.
better about adding some rotation
monster.
depth.
You absolute monster.
Well, I mean, it's volley. It was minus 260 earlier. It can't stay there.
How fast can it react?
How fast
to the
can it
news?
react? Let me tell you.
Pretty fast, I'll tell you that.
In 3,
Vegas
2,
can react very quickly.
it's off
to
the
that
board,
news.
my friends,
That
which
quickly.
means they are absolutely
They're
going
aware.
to change it.
They are aware of what's going on. All right, let's play our incorporator.
Oh, yeah, I've been
yesterday.
dying for this.
We got the setup from yesterday's show when Jesse Ackler joined us for his regular Tuesday segment to get his vocabulary word to work into the broadcast. Incorporator time with
Lord.
Jesse. He gets a word that somehow he has to work into a baseball broadcast. Sounds funny, but he always does it with aplomb. But
Yes,
that
he
is not
does.
your word. Paulie, if you would play the word, please.
Gouache.
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 It's
Too easy.
Do you know that one? Gouache.
Like squash or different?
No. Gouache
Gouache.
is an art term. It's a method of painting using opaque pigments ground in water and thickened with a glue-like substance, kind of a watercolor format of art painting, a gouache painting.
Gouache, spell it.
Gouache. GOUACHE. All right. So you told me there was a bit of something went on last night during the game.
Mr. Jesse Agler, he texts me every time that he does the incorporator, so I know right where to go get it. He texted me in the top of the second inning. He goes, may have said it wrong. I forgot the pronunciation.
You can sort of hear that.
And before I even reply, because I was watching the game on TV and the third out was made, go to commercial break, that's when he sent that text. And then a minute later, he says, yeah, I definitely said it wrong.
I love it. I can't wait
I
to see
said,
it.
don't worry, I'll set it up in the morning. It's all good. He goes, took another crack in the bottom of the second. So here's the first one.
Manny Machado really turned it on. Padres finished off the month 15-10. Could have been a little bit better.
2-2. Manny reaches for it, bounces it up the middle, charged by the shortstop Tovar. He's got it, and the throw to first is in time. One away in the top of the second inning. Rain is coming down a little bit harder now than it was at the start of the game. And again, it's just very, very gray, thick gray sky, sort of a gauche look to the landscape here.
Gauche.
So gauche is different.
Yes, gauche is like fancy.
unfashionable.
Oh, I thought it was fancy.
No, I think gauche is the opposite. It's like unfashionable. I'm not sure how that one's spelled though. Gauche, but gouache.
Unsophisticated.
Unsophisticated. It's
And
gauche.
You would call me gauche.
Yes, absolutely. But we were looking for gouache, which is a little different. So
Well, it
Jesse,
also means socially awkward, so maybe it's Ben and
maybe I
Woods.
can be gauche as well.
So we go to the bottom of the second, take two
I love
of
it.
the
I love
incorporator.
it.
He wasted no time.
Rain continues to fall under gray skies here in Denver.
Yeah, no, that's the same setup.
Rain continues to fall under gray skies here in Denver. 1-2. Pitch on the way. Tovar takes in the dirt, blocked by Campusano. Count evens 2-2.
Steady drizzle coming down right now.
There's like no contrast in the sky.
No.
It's just gouache gray. Thick.
I love it.
Consistent.
I love it. Fantastic.
Very nicely done, Jesse. Even on take two.
He sounded very mellow. They're in Denver.
Ooh, you're thinking,
Thinking
well, I
outside
mean,
the box
everywhere
here.
now. Has he
Has he
those
seen
Cheech and Chong gummies ads on his X feed? Can't avoid them. My goodness. Every seventh tweet is Cheech or Chong.
It's so
trying
true.
to sell me gummies now.
What did they spend? $4 billion in Twitter advertising because it's the only
Maybe
ad
they're
I
offering
see.
deals right now. They're having trouble. Hey, spend $100, get 17 months for free.
It's
8 billion impressions.
I have never seen a company advertise something more than Cheech and Chong on my Twitter feed, on my X
Those
feed.
corporate sellouts.
It's so unbelievable. I'm like, these things better be good. Maybe they're not, and that's why you have to advertise so much. I have no idea, but it is truly incredible.
All right, AJ Preller is going to join us next. We'll ask him about Joe Musgrove, trade deadline, all those questions with the Padres GM after this on 97.3 The Fan. I don't like to waste our next guest time at all. So let's get right to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. We are joined by the president of baseball operations and general manager for the San Diego Padres one day after baseball's trade deadline, AJ Preller, back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. AJ, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
First of all, just the news that just broke a couple of minutes ago. You guys are not going to pitch Joe Musgrove today. Nick Martinez is going to start. Just saw some news about some shoulder trouble. Can you give us an update on Joe? Is this the altitude thing that or is this something different from earlier in the season? What's going on?
Yeah, after his last outing, Joe was a little sore when he was and felt some stiffness when he was playing catch the last few days. And I think we ultimately just decided to push him back. I think so far, feeling like it's not anything serious. I think it's just more about pushing him back a few days and making sure that he's closer to 100% before he takes the mound. So we going to go with Nick Martinez today and then reevaluate Joe the next few days, and hopefully this weekend or early part of next week he's ready to make his next turn.
Yeah, I was just going to ask: is there no chance he pitches against the Dodgers? Maybe on Monday. Skipping the start today, getting some extra rest. Is there a chance he throws against the Dodgers or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think sit down more with Bob and Ruben and kind of map out things, especially with we've got Rich Hill coming in too, and looking at him making a start this weekend as well. So I think we have a little bit of flexibility there, but biggest thing is just like when Joe's 100% ready to roll, then we'll go from there with it. So I think again, I think the mindset with everybody is this is more of he'll be ready to make a start here over the next 5 days, just kind of figuring out when that is and what's the best time to slot him in, and mostly just going off of Joe and how he's feeling.
Talking to AJ Preller here on Ben and Woods this morning. So some new faces coming in. Will all those guys be available today to play, pinch hit, whatever?
Yeah, actually, I think a lot of the guys are landing here right now, over the course of the next hour. So we've got, I think with G-Man Choi, Garrett Cooper, Scott Barlow, I think they'll be on the roster, and I think maybe available off the bench. I was talking to Bob here for a second this morning. I think have those guys ready to get off, be off the bench, and then Barlow available today, and then Rich Hill be coming in for the series this weekend, and probably slotted in one of those games.
I would imagine Barlow's availability suddenly becomes a little more urgent after you guys kind of had the bullpen day yesterday. Avila doing a nice job, and I know you'll be making some moves as well. But you're gonna with Nick starting. I mean, you can't. It's not that stretched out, so you're going to need another effort from your bullpen today. What are you kind of looking and mapping out for this game?
Yeah, I think talking to Ruben and Bob, we have our full complement of relievers ready for today. So it's I think a situation we have everybody ready to roll here in the game today. Nick obviously has been in that position before, kind of that jack of all trades, start the game. He gives us a lot of flexibility, and I think we have a full group of relievers with Barlow in that mix as well for the ball game today.
Talking to AJ Preller on Ben and Woods, and AJ, the last few weeks, really the last probably month, watching the team kind of go up and down. I mean, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. I don't have to tell you that. It led us to speculate and a lot of people to speculate. Well, what are the Padres going to do? It was a very, very hot topic on MLB Network and sports radio all across the country, AJ, and ultimately you guys decided to add pieces. For you, when did you know? Like were you going through what we were all going through? Were you on the fence, kind of waffling about what should we do? How hard was it?
I think we definitely had conversations. You get to the deadline, and some years it's pretty clear one way or the other. Other years it's it doesn't declare itself as much with your team. I think with us, we understood like, hey, we're going to go through this process and listen on everything, look at all different possibilities and situations. I think a little bit, obviously part of that is looking at your team and how they're playing and what you think their chances are to get to the postseason this year. We factor all of that in, obviously. And then, we're thorough. You go through and talk about, hey, deals that can make you better for the next couple months, deals that can make you better for the next few years, weighing all that out. I mean, I think a big part of it, like I said a few times here in the last few days, really just comes down to what the deals are, and what how that pushes you directionally. And, I think, with us, we really were never, there was nothing that was close to compelling in terms of moving some key pieces on this year's team. I think a little bit like some of the view of rental players or guys that are, have expiring contracts. Teams are, definitely more conservative on that front these days. And, I think there's a lot of teams that are kind of in that middle ground this year, that, look at it and say, hey, we could win. But, there's just going to be a lot of competition for those last few spots. So those are all the conversations we were going back and forth on. Ultimately, we looked at a few deals that we felt like could round out a team. And, again, like we feel like we have the talent and the ability on our team. We played a little better of late. And I think we feel like we have the ability to go make a run at this thing here in the next couple of months and get back in the postseason.
Do people call you? I mean, you probably have taken 1 billion phone calls in the last month or so. Did you get some weird ones this year? Did you get, people out? Do people call you and ask you like Manny and Tatis and things like that? Like, do they? So I'm sure Soto's name was mentioned more than once. Is that, are some asks ridiculous or is it pretty conservative?
No, I mean, again, like trade deadline time, there's always, you're always, that's kind of the time of year, the month of July, where, people will ask about all different players, and different deals. This year, honestly, the last 10 days, we were in a position because people were calling about players if in case we decide to move guys off our team that could help them win, and then obviously deals where we're buying. But you're always there wasn't anything that stands out where it's like, yeah, this is something totally unexpected. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward, and we were able to go from there with it.
Talking to AJ Preller, Padres general manager, with us here on Ben and Woods. And I've always got the sense that fans are more worried about this than maybe even you guys in the front office, but they see the big contracts that you've handed out and the payroll, and they keep worrying that there's got to be a stop to it. So Peter's going to put the shackles on AJ. He can't spend any more of the money. It's just going to dry up. Were there any constraints placed upon you? I mean, if you presented something big, you guys got linked to Justin Verlander on the rumor mill yesterday. Was that something that was even in the realm of possibility for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like we have, Peter's tremendous in terms of he wants to win, and he understands that, it's not about, a set payroll amount to win or anything like that. I think, we've had different payroll levels here the last few years. And, I think it's more about just like each individual deal and being open-minded to what presents itself. So I think we went into this deadline the same way. Something that was there that improved our club. We talk about what that means, prospect wise, and what that means to our team and the impact, and then, financially where that sets us up for now and for the next coming year. So we were, I think, open-minded on all that front. Peter, Eric, myself talking about that. And ultimately, this is the way we went.
So is it personal? Talking to AJ Preller here on Ben and Woods this morning, we were floundering yesterday on the show for about the last hour, waiting for, you guys to do something, and kind of left our schedule open. And we signed off at 10, and at 10:05, G-Man Choi is announced along with Rich Hill. And then later we did the trade deadline roundtable, signed off at 3:05. All these moves come down, AJ. How we were curious as to how, when you guys get it done, how does Jeff Passan know?
Yeah, I'm very curious about how many times a day he and Ken Rosenthal
does he text you all day?
The trade deadline, like anything yet?
Because I leave you alone,
and
I still don't get any lead or scoop.
Yeah, I think the timing of it. I mean, we're at the same time we're working in the in the room. We have Josh Stein staff members are locked into your guys' show. As soon as you guys sign off, we decided to announce. So we were sitting on that for about an hour and a half.
Why do I believe it?
You know what, they're done. Yeah, let's go from there. No, I think that timing of these things it's kind of remarkable. No, I mean, like you're busy on the phone talking to teams. So I think in terms of, like having any conversation, media or anything like that, that's not happening. It's just literally, I think in a couple of these cases, I think we all shake our heads. Like a deal will be agreed to. We haven't even called it in sometimes to the commissioner's office, and medicals have to go through. I mean, there's a lot that goes through. We have to agree to a deal. And at times within minutes, some of the deals are being reported. And there's other deals we've had where, we get through the entire process and nobody says anything until we can announce it. So I don't really know.
You don't even know. You don't know. So you don't. Does Passan text? Does he text you directly?
No, I think that's especially at this time. It's like your phone. The last 24 hours of the trade deadline, especially the last 3 or 4 hours. I mean, it's literally, at least for us, the last few years, it's been, call after call after call and throwing different scenarios up there. And that's the focus at that time. And, it's kind of one of the tough parts is that you wish you have the ability to really let your players know in the right form of
Yeah.
fashion. But obviously today, media does a great job, and Twitter in terms of just getting the story or getting the news, and that's all kind of seems to be kind of part of the trade process now, unfortunately. So.
Speaking of that, AJ, have you had any tough conversations today? Obviously, with players coming in, that means players have to go out. Have you made those moves yet in terms of guys who might be on their way out today?
Yeah, it's in terms of like the current roster. No, I mean, I think Bob is going to be in the process of talking to those guys. I was here in San Diego for the deadline, so yeah, that's obviously always the tough part of the job in terms of you get excited that you're able to make a move that your group likes and then our group feels like it's good and will help our team. But then obviously even like the conversation yesterday, Ryan Weathers and. Talking to guys from our group that have been in our organization for a long time, Jackson Wolf, guys that have been signed, drafted, developed, and see a guy like Jackson that did a great job for us this year, committed himself this off season, and made a big league start for us and helped us this season. Those are the tough calls, but obviously that's the job, and that's part of yesterday as well, and hopefully it gets us where we want to get to October this year.
And how do you envision, it's AJ Preller joining Ben Woods this morning, how do you envision, Garrett Cooper fitting in and G-Man Choi? And I know today, obviously, like you said, off the bench, hopefully, but how do you envision them fitting in and what are you guys planning on doing with those guys? And yeah, I mean, Jake's still there and he's swinging a really hot bat right now. And, making sure he's got to stay in the lineup as well, which is always the best way to make sure you stay in the lineup.
Does AJ know that Bo Woods is responsible for Jake's turnaround?
I don't know if you know this, but my 5-year-old told Jake on Friday night, he looked at Jake, we were down on the field, and he said, do damage. And Jake said, okay. And next thing you know, turn him around. And so, with guys like that, if you're going to look over your shoulder if you're Jake Cronenworth and go, oh, God, we just got 2 more first basemen. How does that get massaged?
I think again with Garrett Cooper and G-Man Choi, I think the DH spot and just like offensively, we just have not done. I think we in terms of like putting pressure on other clubs, scoring runs, just getting 2 more offensive players that have a long track record. Looking at some of the stuff G-Man's done against right-hand pitching, especially. Cooper against left-hand pitching. I think those guys, they're going to be prepared to come in, and whether it's first base, DH, come off the bench, and gives Bob some real options every single day. If we got to rest a player, we've got like a really accomplished hitter, big league hitter that can be in the lineup that day, and it just gives us more depth. And I think competition's always a good thing. But I think more so like you're going to a championship, you need a lot of good players. You need your top end players playing well, and I think that was all part of getting G-Man and getting Garrett Cooper in here.
I wanted to ask you too, we get a lot of tweets and comments about Xander Bogaerts, and we're committed to Xander Bogaerts for a long time, and certainly started off the season so hot, the wrist, got hit in the wrist, and you hate to see something like that happen. Got the shot after the break, and it scuffled a little bit, a lot coming out of the break, AJ. And is he healthy, and how is he? And I'm sure you've spoken to him, and just how's he kind of hanging in there? He's a really good player and has been his entire career. And I know you guys expect more, and I know he expects more from himself. But is he healthy right now, or is he struggling through something?
Yeah, it hasn't been part of our discussions here lately. Obviously, earlier in the season, we had the situation, like a few months ago where he got the injection. It hasn't been part of the conversations lately. He's doing a lot of work. He's doing extra work. The biggest thing with Xander, again, like Xander's like an extremely accountable person. Mm-hmm. Again, like I think we're also seeing, and we've seen it at times in the past too. It's not an excuse, but like some of the bigger free agent players really across the league that I think. Whether that's expectation or putting some pressure, and then also guys moving to new spots. I think that's all part of it, and kind of sometimes you lose track of that at times. That hey, this is a little different, a little new. But all the reasons we signed Xander, he's been one of the best hitters here in the game over the last 7 or 8 years. I think he's I think the ability to play shortstop, and be in the middle of the diamond, the more so the person and the individual, the work ethic, the care factor. That's all there. And I think, I do think like this time of year, the next 2 months, basically it's going to be every game's a playoff game pretty much. And I think having somebody like Xander in there, it's still, the season's not over, yet. So I think he's got a lot of season left, a lot of at-bats. And, my guess is knowing him and getting to know him even more personally, he's going to do a lot of good things for us here this year and next year.
Last thing for me, AJ. Did any other GM have the guts to bring up the name Ethan Salas, the reigning California League Player of the Week at
You gotta
at
ask,
age
right?
17? And just what have you seen so far in his young pro career? Obviously, I know you guys were really high on him when you signed him at the beginning of the year, and now, I mean, competing against 20 to 23-year-olds in the Cal League and doing what he's doing, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, there are definitely some teams that brought up Ethan's name. I think most of them are starting to get the sense that most of the calls were just like an appreciation for what he's doing and kind of the level. I think it's you always have your internal evaluation. Chris Kemp and his group did a great job with Ethan and signing him, but especially now when he's out playing against competition and more so. I think we got into spring training and we saw, okay, this, now you're starting to see him against pro players and realizing he's really advanced. And then, and just seeing that firsthand. And then now when you get out into this environment and start to hear other teams, their evaluation, and that's always a good thing when other teams are kind of sharing what we feel internally. So he's done some really nice things like early on in his career. And I think we think really highly of him. And again, we're going to challenge our top guys, and if they're able to handle it, looks like he's been able to handle a lot. So it's again, he's a guy that we think highly of, and it was pretty clear in this process the last couple of weeks that the industry shares that belief that he's got a chance to do some really good things here down the road for our organization.
AJ, appreciate your time. I know it's been a busy couple of days, and it will continue to be busy. Good luck to the Padres going forward. We're going to be following it every step of the way. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, AJ Preller, President of Baseball Operations, General Manager of the San Diego Padres, on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. And speaking of roads, let's get a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Got a couple problems here, guys. South on 15 before Miramar Road. A collision involving a couple cars. Looks like this one is in the second lane from the left. So take it extra carefully as you pass it. South on 15 before Miramar Road. And got a crash on westbound 8 right before the 805. That's been moved over to the right shoulder. Traffic in San Diego may be stressful, so let Viejas Casino and Resort alleviate your anxiety. Take a dip in alluring relaxation. Rejuvenate in Willow Spa or win that life-changing jackpot. The unmatched staycation experience, just 25 minutes from downtown, Viejas Casino and Resort. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com, where to next? We're at the top of the hour. I think there's a lot to react to there. If you heard something, why don't we open the phone lines when we come back? If people want to talk about what AJ had to say about Joe Musgrove, about the trade deadline, about Ethan Salas, give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I mean, I know Woods is already worried a little bit about Joe from what he heard. We'll talk about it next year with more Ben & Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
pretty funny to know that a trade will be in the works or even really completed. The phone is hung up, and then they end up looking at each other going, how the hell does Jeff Passan have this right now? Like, how does that
We
happen?
haven't talked to the players. We haven't turned it into the league.
Right. Medicals still have to be done, and Jeff Passan's tweeting about it. That would
You've
be
heard players say it all the time. Like, I had no idea.
I found out on Twitter. Imagine us planning a bit. And then, like, the next thing you know, our competitors are doing our bit. Like, what the hell? It's
I feel better that I'm not missing out. I've had this fear for years that I should really be texting AJ like 4 times a day to see what's up, because, well, I'm sure Jeff Passan's doing it and Ken Rosenthal's doing it. Why am I not doing that? Because I feel
I not doing my job?
I feel like that's just like rude, and you can't just constantly text people. That's annoying, and they're going to get upset at you. To find out that they're not doing it is somewhat comforting, but now I have no idea how they're getting their information. I mean, if they haven't told anyone yet,
bugs in the room or something, like it's crazy. It is crazy. I've always been fascinated to know that. I mean, they're. I think you'd be surprised. I think we'd all be surprised at how a lot of big business is done. Yeah, there are leaks. There are intentional leaks. There are things that are put out there intentionally. I know for a fact I've been tested. I know I have. I know I've been tested by people to see if I would run with what they've given me. I know 100%, and I never do, because A, I don't want to look like a buffoon, right? And B, it's just hard to verify some of the stuff that you get. Had one yesterday that I was like, no, that's not real. That can't happen. But yeah, you don't want to look like an idiot and report bad information, but you also, there's something to it of like, let that man do his job. It's his job to do the trades. Our job is to react to them, not to find out about them before they've happened, really. So no, that was good insight. That was funny. That was interesting by him.
It was. I thought the comments at the end about Ethan Salas and how, there were other teams calling. They didn't really have their hearts in it. They just basically knew. I know there's no chance, but any do you want to talk on Ethan Salas, because other teams seem to be as high on him as the Padres are so far, and for a kid who just turned 17 a couple of months ago,
pretty awesome
to be doing what he's doing. Padres did not trade any of their top prospects, and seems like good deal. Robbie Snelling had a good outing yesterday. Jackson Merrill hit another home run yesterday.
They kept 1 through 10, right?
Pretty much, depending on who you look at.
I saw like 11 or 10.
Yeah, basically the top prospects that they dealt:
Miller,
Henry Williams, Estuar, Ruiz. No one was in the top. Not Ruiz. That was Estuary Ruiz.
Yeah.
They had all the Suaro, yeah, Estuar. They had all the Estuaries and the Estuars in their minor leagues, and now they don't. They've traded them away, but no one was really considered consensus top 10 of anyone they dealt away. So they kept the farm system intact, added pieces that they needed to add. Now, will it be enough? I think ultimately. And if you want to join us here and react, 833-288-0973. Our phones are open, 833-288-0973. For the most part, I've been seeing good grades. The experts are giving the Padres Bs and B pluses, guys like the Jim Bowden and the David Schoenfields of the world. I think the Padres fan base, as Sammy put out a poll yesterday, I think almost everybody gave AJ an A or a B on his trade deadline. So the reviews are very positive, but ultimately,
well, the reviews were very positive on the roster that we had to start the season too. It's got to work.
But ultimately, if the Padres make the playoffs and these guys help on the way, it's a straight A. It's an A+.
Yeah.
If the Padres miss the playoffs and they don't get anything for Josh Hader or Blake Snell, it's an F. It's all in hindsight on this one.
It's a tough one.
It's kind of, you put your chips here in on going for it and trying to make the playoffs. I think it's.
I'm not going to be.
It feels like a good idea, but if they don't get there, then ultimately you're going to say in hindsight, well, I guess we should have traded Blake Snell and Josh Hader when we had a chance to get something for them before they became free agents.
I'm not going to do it. I'm putting my foot down right now. This is what I wanted. I want a team to root for, and sure. I mean,
it'll be horribly unfair, to change your tune later if they don't make the playoffs. I get it, but
right. Yeah, but
no one will change the fact that if they don't make the playoffs, then the strategy of buying rentals doesn't make sense, and that's true for any team.
But any
team that rents and doesn't make the playoffs made a bad decision.
What's out of the deadline? Who's your favorite return? right? What team did you look at and go, whoo, boy, they absolutely crushed it by getting rid of their expiring contracts? Like I know there's no guarantee. What was the tweet you read the other day, Paulie? 1 out of 5 prospects traded at the deadline ever amounts to jack squat. Seriously, Kyle Glazer, yeah. So
just keep in mind this time of year that with all the prospects that are moved, really
tons.
only 1 out of 5 has any impact to Major League level.
1 out of 5. So who do you look at and say, oh, God, yeah, I mean, that's obviously Shohei would have gotten a really nice return. Obviously, Juan Soto with a year of control would have gotten a really, really nice return. But who do you look at and say they absolutely crushed it?
I think
the Mets.
I think the Mets did well.
They paid $90 million for those guys.
But that is something they can afford to do.
But they did.
But
still,
it doesn't hamstring them in the future. It was a great point. I think DA made it when I was driving in this morning. You can't criticize the Mets when there's an unlimited supply of money coming. They saved a bunch of money on both of those guys, and they upgraded their prospects by buying out a little bit extra. What problem is that for Steve Cohen? He doesn't care. He's trying to make the team better, and he's using the strategy. We need to build up our farm system, and the fastest way to do it, trade these guys, eat some money so we get even better prospects back. I mean, for a team that has been an utter failure this year, I think they did pretty well at the trade deadline.
I mean, for $90 million, I would hope so. I would hope you did. Right?
Well, it's a much easier job, and I'm sure AJ Preller would agree, when you are given close to free reign financially to do whatever you want to do, just to make the team as good as possible, whether that's free agents, whether that's trades, whether that's prospects. When you have financial freedom and flexibility, the job is always going to be much easier than one for a GM who's got a stingy owner who is making a pinch pennies, for the Moneyball owner who's like, hey, all right, you can guy, but I'll buy him out of my own salary. It's going to make the job 10 times harder when you're doing it that way. And, fortunately for the Mets and, Billy Epler, he doesn't have to do it that way. He can take advantage of the fact that his owner has very deep pockets.
Yeah, I'm looking at the returns that the White Sox got for Giolito, and I'm looking at the returns, and they may be good, but I honestly like who was the best prospect moved in the deadline, and I look at what the fact that we were able to keep our top 10 and still add pieces and still be in it, in a weak-ish wild card scenario. I'm not going to rake this guy over the coals at the end of the road. I'm just not, because that's exactly what I want. I wanted to win that game last night. Call me crazy. I like watching the team that I like win baseball games. It's nuts. It's a new fun thing. Having Josh Hader and being able to watch Josh Hader, close that game out last night is great. Watching Blake Snell every 5th day, for the most part, has been fantastic this season. So, this is what we wanted. We wanted them to go for it. I'm not going to mutter about what ifs at the end of the year if we don't make the playoffs, because you could have unloaded Snell and Hader. I can't do it. It would go against how I'm feeling.
That's fair. Let's go out to the phone lines. 833-288-0973. We got Mike ready to talk Padres baseball here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Just a quick overview to me, you guys. It seems, the season's been vanilla, really. The front office and the trading deadline was vanilla in making their decisions.
Was that smart, though? Was that a smart? Was that smart? Was vanilla actually the right choice?
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay, because they had no reason to go forward with the players not offering really as to think. So that's not an issue with me with the front office. There's no blame. I look at it as a C- decision. I look at the Padres season as a D, because the players, I mean, a couple in particular, I hate to say point out Manny, but there's just, they had
Manny had the best July of anybody in Major League Baseball.
Did.
Well, I mean,
I know
you can't change April, May, June. That's what I'm saying. Like some of the trends are pointing in the right direction. Sucks that it's happened so late. But it's not like he's not like he's dying still.
No. But I wanted to just voice a couple quick points. Simply, the bullpen, and Lugo potentially going there is going to help. But the other needs, I don't want to. Well, I'll just name Lewis Robert. That's a big impact guy that they could have given something. because they need a spark. It's just the Choi guy. Okay, good. It's good for the clubhouse chemistry, but they need a bullpen help. They need another bat. They need just something to lift up the guys that are in like Manny and the rest of them. They need somebody to lean on a little bit. So my point is, it's pretty much vanilla all around, and it's I'm hopeful, but not really.
I was happy. I'll tell you, man. And I appreciate your points, but I was the vanilla-ness.
I think that's exactly
is what I
we
liked
needed.
about it, because I sat there yesterday and I was sweating, man, with about 15 minutes to go. Of course, there's the Verlander talk and all that. And you also know AJ's always cooking up something behind the scenes. If you're going to go in again and start bringing in a ton of like starters, right? Like, what if you trade for a center fielder, right? And I know Grish has been, struggling and everything else, but you add two big stars again. And then it's just like, oh God, how's this going to work? I liked the vanilla. I liked the guys they added in that they've all done what is going to be asked of them before in their careers. They've all done it. None of these guys are coming and going, here I am and here to save the season. They're here to be part of a bigger thing.
And there just wasn't a lot of chocolate overload available.
Yeah, that's exactly
vanilla
right.
was out there. I know the Mets were selling. I guess you could have added Pete Alonso, hey, trade Ethan Salas and add Pete Alonso for a year plus.
Right.
And that would have been your unbelievable move.
I liked the vanilla.
You're not, guys that are out there are going to be out there. There's really only you can upgrade a designated hitter / first base, maybe center field, like you said, but you can't bring in a guy that's going to play third or, short. Those positions are taken. So it was limited to what you can do.
Yeah. Luis Robert, though, was not on the block. They had said you can have anyone but Luis Robert, pretty much. That would have cost you your entire farm. Don't know that he's the right fit. Don't know that he's not. But I mean, you would have had to give up such a massive haul for a Luis Robert type.
Let's we're going to push back the Roundel Report to the bottom of the hour. Let's take a break. When we come back, I just got the lineup.
Yep.
Yes, and I am very intrigued because
I am angry.
Want to know if there are some unexpected new names in the San Diego Padres lineup. Stay tuned. You will find out coming up after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. opportunity to win. You will also have a chance to win Padres tickets on Friday morning if you show up to our special live broadcast at AleSmith. We're going to be broadcasting all day long, getting you ready for a Padres-Dodgers series. It's also the anniversary of Tony Gwynn's 2000th and 3000th hits. We will be on the air live from AleSmith in Miramar at 6 a.m., followed by the coach and then Gwynn and Chris. Tickets to see the Padres, Guns N' Roses, SeaWorld, all up for grabs throughout the day. So join us at AleSmith for a day of beer, celebration, and Padres talk this Friday.
We're going to be rapping live. I forgot about that till just now. Right. Bring all your gear.
Let's not forget the chain and the tangle
Yep.
hat for Friday morning. Okay, we have a lineup out as teased for this morning's / afternoon's game against the Colorado Rockies. 12:10 first pitch. Here's what we've got leading off for the Padres today and playing third base. Ha-Sung Kim.
Okay.
Fernando Tatis Jr. batting second in right. Juan Soto batting third in left. Manny Machado will clean up. He is the designated hitter today off of his feet in Denver. Xander Bogaerts batting fifth at shortstop. Jake Cronenworth will slide over to second base and bat sixth. Gary Sanchez doing the catching and hitting seventh. Matt Batten
eighth
will be your first baseman batting eighth. Not G-Man Choi, or probably be actually Garrett Cooper against the lefty Kyle Freeland, but neither of the new guys are in the lineup, at least to start the game, although we're told they should be available by the time first pitch rolls around, arriving and in town. And then Trent Grisham batting ninth as usual, playing center field for the Padres. So,
and now Nick Martinez on the bump instead of Joe Musgrove.
Correct.
Woo! Get weird. Let's get weird on a Wednesday day game, you guys.
Scott Barlow should be available in the pen as well. AJ Preller told us last hour that pretty much full pen is available today behind Nick Martinez. And then they have an off day tomorrow to reset before they start facing the Dodgers on Friday. So Bob Melvin can be fairly aggressive with his pitching decisions today, even though not the best of circumstances when essentially he had a bullpen day yesterday. And credit, again, Pedro Avila for going 4 innings and throwing as many pitches as he did. How many pitches did he get up to yesterday?
Who? Avila?
Avila.
Oh, dude, he was I got it right here.
Because I think his season high going into yesterday in the minors was 88.
Yeah, he threw 88.
And he threw 88 again yesterday. So
sure
he went as much as he's gone all season to get through 4 for the Padres. Credit Honeywell, 2+. And yeah, he gave up a couple of hits and ended up getting charged with those runs before he left. But those 2 innings were big to bridge the gap to get near the end and help the Padres get that win. So, I mean, I don't know that Honeywell comes back. My guess is Avila gets sent down. AJ didn't tell us all the moves. Bob Melvin is informing players who are being sent down or possibly designated for assignment. You know, Matt Carpenter has seen the writing on the wall. I mean, he's talking about it in this morning's newsletter. I've seen how the end comes for guys, and you know, you stop playing for a while, you don't see your name in the lineup, a trade deadline hits, new guys are playing your position. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's probably happening this morning in the clubhouse there at Coors Field. And just sad that it never really worked out for Matt Carpenter here in San Diego.
Yeah, seemingly great dude and you know, veteran and all that. But yeah, man, it's a you have to produce. You have to produce, and it's a costly mistake, you know, and it's hard to admit costly mistakes. I understand that, but when you have not gone to that guy off the bench, Benny, for a couple of weeks at least, it's, you know, what are we doing here? If you can't help the team win, then you can't help the team win. That's you're gonna have to cut bait, and it sucks. Not my money, you know. I can't imagine continuing to suffer $12 million losses just over and over and over. It is the nature of the business, though.
What did you think of the Marlins moves yesterday? Adding Jake Burger from the Chicago White Sox and Josh Bell, who we know, of course, from the Cleveland Guardians.
I mean, it feels like they've needed pop.
And Ryan Weathers.
Yeah, and Ryan Weathers. It feels like they've needed pop, you know, all year. They've got Soler, who hit some bombs for them. They've got Arias, who gets on base, obviously, as you know, like crazy. So I liked it, man. I like, you know, Burger's he's kind of your 25 homer. He's going to hit 30 bombs this year and probably will hit 215, 220, you know, if he's lucky. And then Josh Bell had I thought you want to talk about a DFA candidate with the Guardians earlier in the season. I thought there's no way he sees the end of the season. And turns out he didn't with them, but he's played a lot better. And, I don't know how familiar Skip is with Josh Bell. I don't think very, but yeah, I think they're going to be. I think it's it's fringe moves for a team that's kind of on the fringes.
I guess the acquisition of Josh Bell is what made Garrett Cooper more available in a trade for the San Diego Padres. As a roster crunch as they're adding guys now, they can stick Ryan Weathers in AAA if they want, or make him a spot starter if they need someone like that at this point. And let's be honest, for Ryan Weathers, this is probably a good thing. Change of scenery at this point. His time in San Diego had some ups.
Time to move on.
It had some downs, but he didn't feel like he was.
I'd seen enough.
He was making progress with the Padres organization, and you can blame Weathers or you can blame the Padres for that. But he was a first-round draft pick. He had a quick rise to the majors, made his debut in the playoffs for the Padres in the 2020 pandemic season. But then after that, hey, we're all pretty excited. Hey, this kid rises up through the big leagues, didn't wilt in the spotlight, in a really tough spot, having to pitch against the Dodgers in a playoff series. We're thinking big things, and it just never really materialized. Had some good outings, had some bad outings, rode the train back up and down from AAA.
Didn't like it. Didn't think he should have been.
And maybe a change of scenery will be good for him. So we'll see what happens there. As for Jackson Wolf, I can see why any team would be intrigued with a lefty who has made one start, looked like he was absolutely unintimidated by Major League Baseball.
The Detroit Tigers, yeah.
Went out there, did his job, what they needed to, pitched
got a
through
win.
a rain delay, got a win. Didn't look like a guy that is going to have a very high ceiling in Major League Baseball.
You never know. You never know, and
maybe turns into a Rich Hill type and, battles his way through a long career and some great years, but not a lot of swing and miss. Wasn't getting into the minor leagues as well.
When I saw most of and I don't use prospect hugger as a negative connotation. I don't. When I saw most of the huggers that I know that were not upset about many of the people we lost, I thought to myself, all right, that makes it a pretty successful deadline. I don't know, and there's really no way to tell, but I don't know that we lost anybody, Ben, that is going to come back and really, really bite us, years to come. And I think, some people said a slight overpay maybe to Pittsburgh, but the Toolsy kid, Suero, he's
if there's anyone that may
17
worry you in 4 years, it might be Suero,
right?
But
okay, cool. And if Hill can help beat some innings,
he's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And sometimes
big tall, 6'5".
Sometimes that scratcher pays off, but most of the time he tosses it in the trash. Just doesn't work out. But yeah, he's definitely got the tools to be interesting.
Sure. Yeah, he's a toolsy kid. That's what I heard.
The Henry Williams, Jesus Rios, the guys who went to the Royals. Henry Williams was ranked number 10, I think, on some prospect lists. I couldn't tell you a thing about him.
What I heard about him is he had some injury, bad luck. So it's not Jackson Merrill, it's not Ethan Salas, it's not Snelling, it's not Lesko.
And Rivas, hey, if he was hitting and was going to hit in the big leagues, he'd be hitting right now. He'd be playing every day for the Padres.
Yep.
They would love that.
No question.
Designated hitter. There was a spot for him. People say, well, he never really got it. I heard Coach say, well, in our roundtable, I never really got a chance. You think that they wouldn't have loved Rivas to jump in and be the designated hitter? They were badly looking for someone to step into that role. And, he didn't do it. Now, maybe at some point he will. He's produced at the minor leagues, but right now has that 4A look about him. In Major League Baseball.
Like I said, none of this stung very much at all. I thought it was a pretty successful deadline, and we'll see how the new guys do. And maybe the thing reverses where you're having a really, really great year, and you come to San Diego and you're not, you're no longer a superstar, and you got to leave to go find it again. But maybe here, with the vanilla moves, as the caller earlier said, maybe these guys are what we were looking for. Fringe type players that can help a team that has plenty of superstars on it.
According to my copy right here, tickets are selling out fast for Friday's Dodgers-Padres game.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Given the track record of 20 plus sellouts in a row and 47 sellouts already this season, my guess is it's going to sell out. We've got a pair to give away though right now. If you are interested in going to the game, homestand opener this weekend on Friday night. Be the third caller right now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We got a pair of tickets for Padres Dodgers on Friday night. I'm planning to go to that game this weekend. We'll see if they can get a win to open that series. You can still secure your tickets, Padres.com/tickets. If you don't have them, cheer on your Friars against the Dodgers this weekend at Petco Park. But win them now, 833-288-0973. All right, we'll get some headlines from Paul Reindl, our Reindl Report, in the final segment on a Wednesday of Ben and Woods. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Through the Fan is brought to you by SC Johnson STEM. I did, but no one heard it, so
Did you do that on
doesn't really
purpose?
matter.
I was
did
very
not.
confused what was going on.
I did not.
It was a warm up.
I thought I clicked the button. It was one of those either missed the button.
Hello.
See,
Hey,
it's not that
what in
hard
the
to
world?
hit a button around this place. I am. Has anyone heard why Buddy Black was losing his mind and
No.
uttered a very, very bad word on the Padres telecast last night in was it the ninth inning, top of the ninth inning?
Yeah, it was Hader. Hader was coming in. It was bottom of the ninth.
Bottom of the
Yeah,
ninth inning.
Hader was coming
comes
in, and he's warming up, and I'm like, what is
But
Buddy
nothing
Black
really
losing his-
happened in the game at that point that would have led to a manager, I thought, having
Somebody,
a screaming fit at the umpire. And I didn't get thrown out either.
I have no way of knowing if this is true. Somebody said it could have been, you know how there's positioning rules now? You can only line up in certain areas, and Xander, somebody said Xander may have
You have to have
started
your-
with his
your
feet on the grass.
both feet. Like if there's a line that extended directly through the middle of second
Yeah.
base, the shortstop has to have both feet to the left of that line when the pitch is thrown and on the dirt. Second baseman has to be to the right of that line and on the dirt.
Golfers and baseball players, two of my favorite sports, by the way. Really, my two favorite sports. The whiniest people of all time. Players, coaches, managers.
You don't count those soccer, the floppers and the
There's
trying
that's
to
a,
draw those fouls.
that's a strategy that I've learned. Now, I used to think basketball players get a lot of hands up. What, me? But baseball players, balls and strikes, whether you're pitching, whether you're hitting, golfers, the worst of the worst.
So it was Hill was already struggling. It was when they made the pitching change.
It was
and
when
brought
they made the
Hader in?
changes when he came out.
Was there something to do with the Padres mound visits or their pitching change protocol?
Wolfpack says he was
Hill-
trying to ice him.
Hill had-
that could be something. I don't know. I mean, it's Josh Hader. He's a veteran.
I mean, Hill had his three batters.
Yeah, he had his three
Hader had been
batters.
warming up, then he sat down in the eighth inning when they got the 4-run lead.
Do whatever you want.
And then Hill, of course, pitched him back into a save situation, and they had to bring Hader out. I mean, I saw a lot of people saying, why didn't you just go to Hader? It's Coors Field. It's a 4-run game. Why even mess with Tim Hill? Well, if you can get through the ninth inning and you don't have to use Hader, isn't that a good thing?
I always said dragged when you do, dragged when you don't. And if Hader has to go out and throw, let's say he starts the inning, Ben. He starts the ninth and throws 36 pitches to get through it. Great. Brought him in, 4-run lead. Could have gone to anybody else. He wishes he could go to anybody else.
Bob Melvin did get dragged in a 4-0 game when he brought him in last week.
Yeah. Got
against
dragged.
the Rangers.
Got dragged. So it just you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Tim Hill's got to come in with a lead and throw strikes. That's it. He's got to come in and throw strikes. Just pound the zone, let him hit it. You get ground balls, don't you, Timmy? Like he's just really been scuffling. So you're gonna have to be able to count on these guys at some point this season. You can't have 4 guys in the bullpen. You go, we can't call on them. You can't have it. They're on the roster. They're in the bullpen. You're going to have to use them at some point. So what better spot to use Luis Garcia up 7? What better spot to use Tim Hill than up 4? People don't get this? Seriously? After all this time?
Robert says, I think he was upset because he didn't get a chance to challenge the play at first base because of the pitching change. So Hill had given up a couple of hits and
what would Buddy be?
And a run, and then there was that slow chopper to Manny, and it was a somewhat close play at first, but
Not
I thought
really.
I thought it was fairly clearly an out in real time.
Like very clearly. Yeah, the bullpen stuff, I understand it, man. We're all sitting at home going, well, why would you do that after a guy gives up a 3-run homer? Right?
Michael
Like,
says Black pointed towards second or short, so that feet on the grass,
feet on the
maybe
grass
was what he
thing.
wanted to challenge, but because of the pitching change, he went over the 15-second limit. Well,
Oh.
15 seconds is 15 seconds, whether the Padres change pitchers or do. I mean, that shouldn't matter. That's on Buddy.
Yeah.
If he hasn't said anything, it's not on the Padres or the pitching change. But like you said, baseball players whining,
bitchy, man.
complaining.
Bitchy. Golfers and baseball players. Man, it is.
Well, golf is a completely unfair sport, so I think very justifying.
baseball's
complaining.
not. What if you only hit the ball 3 out of 10 times when you played golf? You're like, oh, you're the best in the world.
That's, Fernando feels like he's been struggling lately. No one's had more 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity,
Yeah.
I think, in
He's
baseball in the
gotten
last few
unlucky,
weeks.
man.
He's been unlucky lately. hit some
Which
screamers.
sucks.
Now, yeah,
That
some are
sucks.
ground balls as well, but
Yeah.
he's hit some screamers that have gone right into mitts in the outfield.
Baseball's weird as hell. You watch Ha-Seong Kim with that little ass out nubber last night, beats it out. I mean, it's just you can scorch a ball on the screws and you get an out.
Nice job of Ha-Seong Kim has done a great job putting balls in play.
No
lately.
doubt, man.
You know,
No doubt.
a few months ago, I would have said, "Oh, here comes Ha-Seong Kim to strike out again." Guy does not swing at pitches out of the zone anymore at all.
Knocking on wood.
And
keep it
when
going.
he'll still swing and miss because he'll put a good aggressive swing early in the count, but he gets to 2 strikes and he puts that little flick of a wrist, flips the ball into center field for a hit as well as anybody in baseball has been doing it right now. Very impressive. He'll be leading off and playing third base for the Padres today with Manny as the designated hitter. All right, let's check traffic, and as we come back out of traffic, Paul, you'll have some headlines for the Rondell Report.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Just 2 things wrapping up our morning drive. We saw this crash on or near the Caliente Avenue on-ramp to westbound 905. Also, stalled vehicle taking the left lane on northbound side of the 15 Ocean View off-ramp. Traveling on the westbound 52 just before the 805 collision in the clearing stage. Everything's in the center divide. And in the North County eastbound side of the 78 just past Nordall Road. There's a collision involving a couple cars there over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rondell Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Now,
I mean, we've been
wish-
together for like the last 4 hours.
It's true.
You don't have to wish us a good morning.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Well, it's not afternoon yet, Paul.
It is on the East Coast. All right. I don't know. There are no Tigers as far as mascots in the Pac-12, which is unfortunate because then we would have Lions, Tigers, and Bears.
We did talk about Eduardo
This
Rodriguez
morning.
earlier.
That's true.
But
Fair enough. Okay. So we'll start off in the Pac-12. A little bit relevant here to San Diego State as they're trying to figure out what the hell conference they're going to be joining if they can get out of the Mountain West here. And the big story with Pac-12 has been their media deal, the upcoming media rights deal that they are hoping to land. We did get an update yesterday that they were presented with, the conference was presented with a streaming package from Apple TV Plus, going the way of digital and digital streaming. I don't know if that's a great move for them. I mean,
Not at all bad.
it's going to destroy the Pac-12. That's my
the
prediction.
Pac-12
But it'll look beautiful while they do it.
It'll look sharp. Here,
From an outsider perspective, I think the Pac-12 media deal has been pretty dog-ass for a while
Yeah.
now. Like the Pac-12 network has not been easily accessible, especially in many Pac-12 markets. I know I have friends in the Bay Area, so Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
And I have friends up in Washington for UW and Washington State.
Yeah.
They're like, they have a couple of different service providers. I think it's Comcast up there, but Cox down here.
Yeah, Cox. I've got Cox.
AT&T, whatever. You're like, I can't get the Pac-12 network.
Right.
I cannot
You
watch
won't.
my
So
team.
maybe
I'll pay
this
you
is
and you
better.
can't get it.
Everyone can get Apple somewhere or another.
So in that, yeah.
Here's the thing. What the reports are is that it's all about the financials. And the Pac-12 schools want to know they're going to be getting as much or close to as much as the Big 12 schools. Otherwise, they're going to just jump to the Big 12 where there's more money. So there is the possibility that the deal will provide about the same amount of money, but it's based on subscriptions. If they do well, if a lot of people subscribe to this pay Apple Pac-12 channel, then they'll do really, really well. But hey, if it doesn't do that well, if people aren't saying, yeah, I'm willing to sign up for $7.99 a month to see Oregon State take on Cal.
If you went,
they might not do that well.
But if you went to Oregon State, it's $8 to watch your team.
I think
don't
it's a great
understand,
idea as a supplementary plan.
It's a crowded marketplace, though, and most sports are still free for people.
In what planet?
In the world of where most college football conferences like the SEC, I turn on CBS.
Yeah.
Or I turn
How do
on
you
ESPN.
get it? You got to pay for cable provider.
But I'm already paying for that. I'm not. This is an extra charge that Apple is going to be.
Well, if you're a real
asking
cheapskate,
for.
you can put a digital antenna on your TV, and you can get CBS, you can get ABC.
But I would say most people are probably already paying for the channels that get the pack. They get the Big 12 and get the Big 10 and get SEC. They're not already paying for this Pac-12 channel because no one is. It's going to be extra, and I don't know. Is that going to fly now?
I just like paying for stuff.
College students, maybe a younger audience that you're going for.
But
I want to get it.
Are you going for the college age people? You're really going for the boosters, the alums, the older people, the wealthier people. Is that going to be a problem? I mean, maybe they make it work. I mean, it'll look brilliant.
I will say, I pay for Apple TV. I like it. There's good stuff on there sometimes. And then it goes months where I never click the button. Then a baseball game comes on. I'm like, glad I paid for it. It's badass. I will say the Peacock is a little rough. That's kind of a rough scene. My beloved.
That was the instant cancel for me.
My beloved Fighting Irish play on Peacock. They did once, and I was like, all right,
here's the thing: if there's even a whiff of I don't know about this from like 3 college presidents in the Pac-12, and they go, I'm going to take the sure thing and just jump to the Big 12. The Pac-12 is toast, and then there won't be anywhere for San Diego State to even go if there's no Pac-12 anymore. Oregon and Washington would love to join USC and UCLA in the Big 10. So far, the Big 10 is like, we're not ready to invite anybody. Big 12 is ready to invite probably Arizona and maybe Utah, maybe Arizona State. There's not going to be much left in the Pac-12 if everyone goes. And I don't know what
leave the Mountain West to join the Mountain West.
I don't know what San Diego State's going to do. Awful. Mountain West Plus is really what it's looking like it could be. Are you ready for a conference with Cal, Utah, San Diego State, UNLV, Colorado State, Fresno State, Boise State? I mean, a little better. You're cutting some of the bottom of the Mountain West, like San Jose State and Hawaii, out, but it's not a huge improvement. It's not a huge, better TV deal. You already have access to the college football playoff with the changes. They have, if you're a top 6 conference champion, which probably the Mountain West has a good chance of being, you're already there now. Now you're just increasing the competition a little bit without increasing the money a lot. It's not great news, I don't think, for San Diego State.
All right, we'll move on to the NFL with the start of a new season, training camps underway, and all of that.
Love it.
We get new sound bites, and especially sound bites from our beloved Dan Campbell.
It's my team,
from
by the way.
Detroit Lions. Of course, Dan Campbell, famous on this show for this clip. We haven't played this one in a little while.
We're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
That's right.
All right.
Spit
and we're
it
going to
out.
stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down.
Yeah.
All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap. And we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right, that's going to be the mentality.
We're basically cannibal serial killers. I'm going to floss with your ligaments. Your kneecap, I'm going to make soup in it, and I'm going to drink that soup to fortify my body so that I may continue to eat your body.
So
he's a lunatic.
Dan Campbell.
I love it.
This is a couple of days ago. He sat down with a couple of the guys from Barstool Sports. This was from Big Cat, and they asked him about a story. Apparently, Dan Campbell
this guy
wanted
Bitmaster
to have an actual lion roaming the sidelines at Detroit football games, and they asked him about it.
You talked to us last time on Part of My Take. You said that you had considered getting a pet lion on the sidelines.
I did.
Have you had any further conversations about bringing a live lion?
Well, I would say that she had no problem with it, but the league apparently frowns on those type of things.
Roger Goodell,
I'm not going to point out Roger on this. I'm just going to say that the league frowns on that. Let's just say that.
Yeah, okay. It'd be nice though to have a lion sitting behind Jack Fox, being like, "You better punt that."
It's a
So the NFL says no lions on the field, even though, like in college football, Texas they bring a
bevo,
big steer.
Yeah, bevo.
Colorado they have a buffalo running down the
wild.
field.
Yeah, you're right. Lions are-
Georgia has that little bulldog. Ugga.
Ugga.
That's not quite as wild.
A lion feels different. The buffalo feels a little.
Yeah,
that feels a little wild to me. Bevo's. We've had some
Problems with Bevo, yeah.
Bevo.
By the way, the Lions, remember, what 9-8 last year. They missed the playoffs on the last day. They didn't get the
that's
help
who I'm
they
gravitating
needed.
towards.
But they did finish with a winning record last year under Dan Campbell. The arrow was pointed
Dan Campbell
up
guy. Huge Dan
on
Campbell
the
guy.
Lions.
I got no team, really. My son likes the Bengals, and that's fine. I kind of feel like rooting for
Then
the
you'll
Lions.
have no kneecaps.
Yeah. I like that. I like the, my dad's from Detroit, but I don't know. Maybe there's some connection.
Let's look just quickly. Let's see what their schedule looks like. They open at Kansas City. 0-1.
0-1. Yeah.
Oh, they got the opening game. There, it's Detroit at Kansas City Thursday night, September 7th.
It's an 0-1
to begin
It's all right.
the league year. That's a tough start
Starting the hole
against the favorites and defending champions in their yard, celebrating their Super Bowl. That's a tough one.
Nice draw.
All right. And finally, gentlemen, I was very curious and surprised when I saw the headline of this final story yesterday. Now, this is a little visual. This is the bonus. If you're in the YouTube chat, we can at least show you some pictures. But the headline reads, China Zoo forced to deny some of its sun bears are actually humans in costume. So there is a zoo in China. It's called the Hangzhou Zoo, which I'm guarantee I said that wrong. My apologies. And they had to basically put out a statement that says, no, that it's a sun bear is what
It's
it's
a
called.
real sun bear, guy.
That is not a human in a bear costume. That's actually a bear.
Then
and I
why-
saw the video.
Then why does its fur not fit?
There's a video and a picture of it.
Yeah.
That's a guy in there.
The bear is standing on its hind legs, like straight up, and it's waving at people. It's interacting with
He's
the
got an
tourists.
ass saggier than mine.
It looks like the costume is about 3 sizes too large on
Look
the
at that.
person who's inside.
It's me
of it.
in a bear costume. That's me. That's
a
my body.
ass costume.
You can see the pants, like or the butt hanging.
I think he's wearing Skechers. I
It
mean,
is unbelievable. That's a man in there. It's gotta be.
I actually do think it's a bear. I think it's a bear.
In the footage of the video, Angela, the 4-year-old sun bear, is seen standing up straight on slender legs and waving to visitors who have come to see her.
Just a friendly.
Somebody said those are definitely human gestures. Bears can't stand up for that long. Definitely not in place like that. It looks like he's just standing there. Hey,
but it looks. The
It
story is
almost looks
fantastic.
like almost looks like he's Ben Affleck kind of leaning against the wall.
Yeah, smoking a
there.
cigarette. You catch him at break time with his bear hat off. Oh my god,
Bro, I
It's
watched
so
the video
good,
10
dude.
times. I was laughing
It's
so
so
hard. I'm like,
good.
wait, that's not a human?
That's a human.
That's a bear? the
ass is what kills me. The saggy ass
it's
looks
just got
like
these rolls.
it looks like a
saggy
kid.
rolls.
It looks like kids from my high school used to sag their jeans way down. You know, that's what it looks like. Oh, thank you, Paulie. We were almost out of time.
They put out a statement as the bear.
As the bear.
And they said, some
No,
people,
I'm real.
Some people think I stand like a person. It seems you don't understand me very well. When it comes to bears, the first thing that comes to mind is a huge figure and astonishing power, but not all bears are behemoths and danger personified. It's
amazing.
Dominic says the bear just lost a lot of weight. Give him a
Yeah.
break. He went to sdfatloss.com. He's feeling great. He's lost 30 pounds, it looks like.
Your ass doesn't even
his
sag
skin
that
is
much
just-
right now. Your skin's not that loose.
Bro, it was so
That
damn
pic,
funny.
it's so good. Let's say Halloween costume. Maybe I'm wrong.
Like a not very good costume.
Yeah, not very good.
The head looks okay, but you gotta get that tailored or something.
Yeah, a little more form fitting.
And that's our round report. Lions and Bears. Oh my.
Lions, Bears, and Padres, buddy.
All right, we got a game. I got a short coach show for about the next hour plus. And Sammy Levitt will have the pregame show with Nick Martinez in place of Joe Musgrove, ailing with a shoulder today. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Until then, for executive producer Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.